Good morning, guys. Thank you so much for joining me today. I know it's a Saturday and we're not supposed to have craft with me, but we are having craft with me. Thank you so much for joining me. Today we're going to be working on the Italian Ladies Journals, just making ephemera. I will probably make pockets, tags, and journaling cards today. We might make some interactive pieces or something like that. Right now, I am trying to purchase a digital that I need for today. I was running behind. I apologize. I did wake up early. Just time flies, I guess. So the digital that I'm trying to purchase, I'm on Etsy doing it right now. If you guys want to go over, I'm in Roxy Creations Etsy store. And I know I have used many of her digitals in this junk journal. And that's because it's kind of a junk journal themed for that, right? It's kind of a Roxy Creations themed junk journal. I mean, sort of loosely. It's her digital kit that we're using for the kit pages. And so I'm just going to purchase a couple of digitals from her, and I'll let you guys know which ones once I actually get them in my cart here. But the goal today is to finish up pockets. I won't have all the ephemera finished because it's just too much between the three journals, but to finish up pockets at least. So the ones I'm looking for in her thing, in her Etsy, there are some Italian book pages that I was looking for. Let me see if this is the one. This one will work. So the Antique Book Pages Kit 1 is what I just looked at. And let me see if there is another one. I think she has a couple of the Antique Book Pages. And basically, I could have scanned them and just printed them. I'm running out of time. And her kits are beautiful. So let's go ahead and use some of hers. Maybe you guys already have those digital kits, so you don't have to go out and purchase them. But if you don't want to purchase them, just use any book page that you have. Maybe take like your favorite antique book page to the scanner and scan it and then enlarge it. Because the problem with a lot of the book pages that we have is the size of them is very small. It's not 8.5 by 11 anyway. So I wanted to have some that I could print out larger, and I thought that this was going to be a much faster way of doing that rather than me trying to scan some in quick and then print them back out, that kind of a thing. So let me quickly, let me look at this one. And I apologize for not being ready. I really did plan on having everything ready, and I got up at 5:30, but I don't know. I watched that video to make the pockets that I wanted to make today. And then, sometimes the videos are kind of slow and you don't know where the video is going until like the end when it finally gets there. And so when the video finally got to the place where it actually shows the finished pocket, it was a pocket that two pockets we've already made here. So I think we're going to just make some different kind of pockets today. I'm looking for the other book page kit and I don't see it. Maybe I'm just missing it, but we'll go with what I have here. That's enough to get started. So let me go ahead and get those purchased, and then I will print them out quick. Okay, so the ones I have in the cart are the printable antique book pages. Oh, kit 5. Well, then there clearly are other, if it's kit 5, there clearly are other book page kits. So let me figure out where that is. Where are the other book page kits? Let me just look for book page. How's your guys' Saturday morning going? For some of you, it's much later. For me, it's 7:12 a.m. So for some of you, it's much later. This one is kit 2. Kit 2 will work. Let's just go with those. That's fine. So let's check out. For me today, I am planning on doing, planning on doing some crafting in these journals to get them near completion. That's my goal, to to have them near complete. Okay, so that's processing. And then I can get over to chat and pay attention. So I want to get these ones near complete so that on Friday, we'll probably have Craft With Me live again Friday and Saturday this coming week, just so that we can finish these off. And I want to finish them off with you guys on camera, because normally how it would work is we would do the journal series, and then I would do all the finishing touches, including like finishing the decorating of the cover off camera. And this time I want to try to do everything with you guys so that you can see it all. So let me download these files. The downloading always takes forever, doesn't it? So let's get these downloaded. And then while those are processing, cool. Let's get them unzipped. And then I'll put them in a file folder. So how I store my digitals in my computer is I take the files and I create a file folder for each individual junk journal maker. So I create a file folder, like for Roxy Creations. I would have a file folder in my download section that is just for Roxy Creations. And then I will keep all of her digitals in that file folder. And then when I know I'm, looking for something, Rachel, it goes in there. And then I'll have a different file folder for, Pink Monarch or whoever you're doing, right? That kind of helps me. Another way that I do it is I keep all of like my labels, the digitals for labels, in a folder that's just called labels. I have another one that's just called birds, and that one, I just keep all the birds in. And those are stored that way because if I'm looking for labels, I don't really care whose digital it is. I just want to see all the labels or all the birds. But for like kits and kit pages and things, I keep them stored the other way by maker. So that was not all of them. That was 4. Oh my goodness. I knew this would be too hard to do on the computer. We'll just go with that. We'll go with whatever it decided to download this morning. So yeah, after we get these downloaded and printing, you can hear probably the printer is running out there already. Once those are done printing, we will work with those. But in the meantime, we'll work on some stuff on the desk. I did work last night for a little while after we ended, just to try to get the journals so I could at least glue in stuff today. So let me move those over. And I think we're just going to print some of these out as we go. So there's those. Sorry, guys. I normally try to do all this off camera, but I want to work with these today. So let's get those over and then I'll print. There's a lot of the book pages in the book page file. Oh, and the printer's mad. Whenever it runs out of paper, it kind of screams at me, honestly. Okay, so let me go fix the printer quick. Be right back. Sorry. Oh, goodness. Oh, what a start. Okay. If you're joining for the first time, I apologize. Normally it's a little more prepared. I'm not going to say it's perfect, but normally it's a little more prepared. Let me print some of these new ones and then we will get started. Sorry, guys. Okay, we can use that one and that one. We'll use that one, that one, that one, that one, that one. I'll print a whole big bunch. ones are the ones I'm looking for. Yes. This one, that one, that one, that one, and that one, and that one. Okay, we're good. I printed them. We're done. I will finish downloading anything that I didn't download here in just a second. I'm so sorry. Thank you guys for joining me for me to like buy digitals and print them out. I'm sorry. Let's get started. Let me flip the camera down. Let me say my hellos. We have Rhea, Helen, and Shelly, and Diana B joining me this morning in chat. Thank you guys so much for joining. Let's get back over here to where I can see what I'm doing. And let's close all of these extra windows. I don't know. I'm still like so old school that I think if you have too many windows open, it might slow down your stuff. Anyway, let me see what was going on in chat. Just saying good morning. She does have good stuff. I did eventually, Rhea. I know, my brain. I was just like, where are they? We found them. Yeah. Yep. Awesome. Awesome. Hello, Faith Ann. Okay. So for this morning, if you just pull out, obviously, if you have any Rachel digitals, they will all work in here. If you guys just pull out some book page, whatever you want for your, your focal point, like if you want to use one of the printable ladies or like the Victorian dressed ladies, or if you want to use flowers or birds or some kind of focal point, some labels. If you have your Italian paper and you're using your Italian Florentine paper, pull that out. I will use a bunch of lace in today's video or today's craft with me. So if you want to start prepping your lace, we're going to make some lace pockets on book page. And then we're going to put lace on the edges of pages, maybe down the spine. The second half of the video, so first we'll be working with ephemera. The second half will be all lacy stuff. Me adding a whole bunch of lace to the journals. So that's what the plan is. If you want to pull out supplies, let me flip this camera down and let's get started. There we go. Messy craft mat. So, where were we at yesterday? Yesterday we made those tags and a journal card and a little folio. And so here's where... So these are things that I still need to make. I need to make the 2 window envelopes for the other 2 journals and the 2 flip outs for the other 2 journals. So I have those. These I'm just going to tuck in as journaling space. And then I have those coin envelopes that are coffee dyed. So those are all things that need to be made. I don't know if I'll make them today because I have made, at least the first one with you guys. I have some masterboard cut little tags that we could decorate quick. I did prep a whole bunch of book page where I glued it. Pull them out from underneath this mat. I glued 2 rag paper book pages together to stiffen them up to make them like a lightweight cardstock. That way, these were already prepped for today. So I have a bunch of that prepped right here. So I kind of tried to cut out some of the time that we would just be gluing paper together. These are those 2 pockets that I said I was working on yesterday. So I finished those for the other 2 journals. There is one in the green journal. And then here's the ephemera as it stands right now. These were made by coloring in the black and white. Let me show you closer, I guess. So these are these 2. These are these 2 that I made yesterday. I just went ahead and stuck that extra washi right there. I kind of like it. I might do it on that one. But anyway, those are those 2. These are the ones we made by coloring in the black and white scans. And we used the Tim Holtz colored pencils, watercolor pencils. All of these were made that way. These are the little masterboard pieces that I made. It's actually the video before the video number 1. It was made just before we started these journals. I made a masterboard with a bunch of book page, music page, handwriting, some ledger, and some Florentine paper. This is another one that's colored in with watercolor pencils. Then we made all of these pockets. So So I'm just kind of giving you an overview of the things that I have made thus far for these journals to kind of, you know, show you this is where we're at. So we have a lot of ephemera made. These are what we made yesterday. And I figured out that this little folio that I made out of the antique document, one of these tags, probably this one, can go over here, like in this pocket, and then we'll have something else tucked in there. But so we made the folio, we made the tags, we made all of these tags yesterday, and I've already shown you, we've already posted about them. So there they are. There's these ones. These ones are my favorite. I just love them. There's those. So we have a good start. I think there is more ephemera in the basket. We also did these, which still need to be sewn around, and I still need to do the background stamping. But we did some stamped fabric. So if you haven't done the stamped fabric, just pull out some kind of image that you like as a focal point. If I did it again, I would do a little bit of scripty background kind of off to the side. You could do that first, or you could do it the way I have to do it now, where I stamped my focal point so I get a nice clean focal point without the script behind it. And then I'm going to go in with a little scripty stamp and just do a little bit here or there to kind of fill in that background. On this one, I would probably do a little over here and a little up here at the top. And then I'm going to sew around these. This is just plain cardstock behind it to sturdy up the pocket. And I'm going to sew around these. And these will both be, you know, this is a tag with a pocket, but this will be just a pocket. So those are also ephemera pieces. For collage masterboards, these are the ones I have to work with today. I have this guy. Uh-oh. Check your ink level regularly. This is the one I have to work with today that we will cut up to make ephemera with. And also the rest of this neutral colored one. So that's where we're gonna start to just make some quick things. But we do have, you know, it's a good start. It's not complete. And there are other pieces that are still in the journals that, you know, we've already made and glued in and whatever. But that's where we're at with that. So I'm kind of keeping all of my ephemera and pockets and stuff like that in one place at this point, hoping to get to glue some stuff in those journals today. So for these, if you didn't want to make master boards, when I get to the end and I just need to make some quick pockets, I do have that cardstock that I pulled in themes and colors, patterns, whatever, that will match the Italian paper. So if we make all the ephemera we're going to make, and I get to the point where I still need a pocket here or there or a tuck, I'm going to use the cardstock and decorate it. So that's there too. Kind of showing you where I'm at with my stuff. Let me get my readers on. Goodness. Okay. And then for decorating the master boards or whatever, I'm just going to pull this basket out. I have the doilies that I pulled yesterday. We have ledger page. There are some printable pages, and I'm printing some more now that I want to use in collage. I have, you know, other kind of antique documents. We have the German scrap that we could decorate with. Other printed documents. Then this is all of my collage scraps. So if I need to make another masterboard or want to collage something else, that's all kind of down there. It's just in a pile of scraps, basically. There's some handwriting bits. There's some French ledger thingies in here. This is all my Florentine paper. I'm going to pull that out. These are the scraps of Florentine paper that I've been using. I haven't even opened up the new package of Florentine paper. They're sitting out there, and I can't get to, I don't have time to open them yet. So I will do that over the weekend, kind of look at them. We can pull that guy out, even though he's big. These are the black and white copies of those ladies that I was coloring in. If I need any more of those, I think we're pretty heavy on the ladies. So today I'm going to try not to do ladies. We'll see how that goes. More handwriting bits. These are all the things that I pulled to work with. There's some straw paper, and I want to back some of our ephemera today with the straw paper. So let's pull out a couple of sheets of straw paper. just so that we have a variety between the coffee dyed paper and the straw paper. I think that's a good idea. Music paper again. These are some extra printable pages, things that printed wrong even. So let's pull those out. Then we have some regular cardstock, some coffee dyed, some braille paper, more printed Roxy pages if we need to use those. I do want all of these printed birds. Oops. These are Roxy's Roxy Creations birds. So if you want the same birds, that's where those came from. There's a label. Here's some botanical pages, some more birds and labels, more botanical pages. So I'm going to pull out everything I think I want to work with while this basket is down here. And then we will go from there. These are a bunch of misprinted digitals. They're all flipped upside down, but they're all misprinted digitals. I just save them when they print wrong or the print head gets clogged or whatever. And then I'll use them for collage. Again, we have more labels. These papers we can use today. If you haven't already used the little ephemera pieces that came with your kit, if you haven't used those, you can pull those out today. We're going to use them. Specifically, that little frame. I think I might pull that music paper for collage. I know I want these larger. We're going to make a pocket out of those. So some type of large book pages would be good if you've got it. Okay, and let's leave that for now. Then for fabric bits, when we get to work with the lace and the fabric, if you have any of these, what are these called? Charm packs. They're little packs of fabrics. These are the ones I've showed you guys before. I'm going to use these to make some fabric pockets today. So I have a couple of styles of the little charm packs. And then I have a couple of these. These, I don't know what these are called. These, I don't know. They're mini charms. So mini charm packs. I don't know if you guys can see the patterns of the fabric, but they're mini charm packs. So they're like 2.5 inches and they're just teeny tiny, sorry, the camera, just little tiny pieces of fabric in a bunch of different like antique looking patterns. And I'm going to use those as accents in the journal. So that's what I'm using for the fabric bits. I may go to the fabric cabinet at some point and pull out some more, but this is what I've pulled because it kind of goes color-wise. It kind of goes with the journal. So that's what I've got, and I'm going to make the fabric and the lace things at the second half of the craft with me today. Let me put this basket back away. I hear the printer has stopped, so let me go pull the stuff from the printer. Hello, function of light one. Thank you for joining. Let me go grab the stuff from the printer. Okay, so from the printer, I think all of this is Rachel's stuff. These are those book pages that I just printed. Man, they printed out big. I'm going to have to go back and print them out small. They're a little too big for me. And then I need to run a couple of these ones. Let me see what we got here. A couple of these kind of backgroundy ones back through the printer, these ones. And I'm going to print coffee dyed paper on the back side because I want them to be double-sided for a project that I want to fold a pocket out of, or even like a little ephemera holder. So let me get these lined up the right way. I'm not sure if it goes, it does, it goes this way. Okay, so these are the ones I just bought this morning. It was one of her background kits, and I think that goes that way. I think this goes that way. I just need to line them up so I can run them back through the printer because my printer will print double-sided, but it doesn't line it up perfect when you do it automatically. So I have to manually grab the pages out and print them again. So let's print these, not these ones. Well, maybe. Let's just do it. They can be at the end. So let's print these one more time with copy dyed paper. Give me a second to load these in. Diana B, this is from Rachel at Roxy Creations. Her Etsy shop is called Roxy Creations. It's all one word, ROXY Creations on Etsy. And that's where the digitals come from. And so these ones I just bought this morning and are printing out. Let me throw these back in the printer. Let's get those double-sided. These ones, you can see if you, so in your printer settings, when you go to print something, there's an option that says, like, what does it say? Let me actually do it so I can tell you. There's an option that says something like, fill the page. You can see sometimes if you leave that selected, it cuts off the top. Other times with Rachel's digitals, you have to leave it selected or the page will not print to an 8.5 by 11 size. So just kind of be aware when you leave it selected, it may cut off the top of some of the pages. Other pages like these full-size print pages, wherever they are, it won't print the whole thing. It'll print it smaller. And it's because when she sized her digitals, she didn't make them all 8.5 by 11. So you do have to scroll through and look at which ones are 8.5 by 11 and which ones aren't. That's just what I found. Most of hers do print 8.5 by 11, but there are some that don't. So let me figure out where my copy dyed paper scans are. They're in here somewhere. See, that one I didn't make an actual folder for. I just, let me search it. Because they're my own scans of my own paper. Let's do it this way. That'll work. Let's print this one. So, go here. So I'm going to get the back sides of those printed so that we can use them for pockets. There we go. So I want to make folded pockets. My computer's being weird right now. It's refusing to print what I'm telling it to print. It's like, no, it's Saturday morning. I'm not supposed to be working today. Do you guys have like computer issues like that where it's like it almost knows like, you know, hey, we're not supposed to be doing this today kind of a thing? Boy, these are all just not in the correct order. I don't know. Maybe my computer actually has a virus. I have began to wonder. It doesn't seem like when you turn it back on after using it, it kind of reorders everything in like random ways. And so I'm really beginning to wonder, like I have virus protection and all of that, but I'm really beginning to wonder because it just doesn't seem to want to play nice after you know, so I used it yesterday, right? But then you turn it off and you know, come back the next day and it's just like a whole different computer. It wants to be different. The camera settings all change. So anyway, all of that is printing. She does. She has all kinds of Italian things. And so for the Italian Ladies Journal, that's kind of my go-to shop for it, right? The actual digital that is in the kit is from her also. And she did give me special permission to use it for the kit. And I did purchase the digitals in the quantity that I sold the kits of. So that's how that worked this time with the digitals. Let's go ahead and start working on something that isn't a printed thing while we wait for those other things to print. These, you can see the scale of these is just massive when you print them out full size. So I think we should probably print those in a 5x7 size just to bring them down to book page. I did want some like this one that is a full page so that we can, you know, fold it and make like a big pocket, or I can use a big half of it to cover a page. I have a page in the journal that I don't like, and it's there's nothing wrong with it. It's just my personal, like this page. To me, this page is just not one that of my favorites. Let's just leave it like that. It's not one of my favorites. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a full size, full page pocket that's going to go here to cover up this page. The reason why I don't like this page, I mean, honestly, it is a beautiful page when you look at it as a whole, but because I've sewn it in this way in the journal, I've got half of her dress kind of showing here. It's got a little bit of like newer typing here. To me, I just think this is a great option to just do a big full size page embellishment. So let's make that first. And I'm going to use some of these book pages as the backdrop for this pocket that we're going to put here. So let's do that. Getting that set. Let's do that. Okay, all good. The Italian churches. I haven't seen that one. Thank you, Function of Light. I try to pull a whole bunch of stuff out just so we have options. Most of this stuff is available, not obviously Rachel's digitals or whatever, but all of the antique paper and the Italian paper and all of that kind of stuff is available. The book pages, the ledger, all of the antique documents and things, that's all available in my Tuesday night live sale. I have a regular Tuesday night live sale every week where I sell all of the antique documents, books. You can buy whole ledgers, everything there, right? So we could use a print of an antique page, or we could use an actual antique page. Let me hold this open. Actually, somewhere we do have a book right here. Somewhere we have a little book weight, so I can have my scissors back. But this is the page we're going to make something for and cover up. And I just wanted to look. This, we could use actual antique page. This is rag paper page. But if you look at the color tone, it's exactly the same color as these. So I don't want to put something here that is exactly the same color. So let's try to use something else. And this is just the base of our pocket. I'm going to make a really large pocket right there. All of that would be good too. We could make a pocket, and I really like this right here. So let's make a big pocket, and we'll decorate the pocket with one of these botanicals. I mean, you could make a flip out. You could make all kinds of things right here. Because our journal is going to be overly full, it's going to be extremely, extremely full. Let's just go ahead and not make that bulky right there. I don't want to make a flip out or anything that's going to add additional pages because we're already really bulky. We're going to be really bulky by the time we get this done. So we need to find one of these pages to use. The print on these is just so large. I did go back and print them. This one will work. I did go back and print them smaller on a 5x7 scale. This one will work though. In color, you can see it's a different color. While we do have text and text, after I decorate this, you're probably not really gonna see much of the text anyway. So let's go ahead and figure out how we want to make this into a pocket. Our page here, the width of it is 5.5 inches, about 5.5 inches. So whatever we make to fit on this page has to be smaller than 5.5 inches. Probably going to go in the 5-inch range. Again, you're not really going to see much of this. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to get the paper trimmer and I'm going to cut this. The height of my journal page, the height here is 8.5. So I'm going to make this kind of roughly 8.5. Let's just see what this gives us. Cut off a couple. We'll use that for collage somewhere. And then, so we have the height done. Let's turn it around this way. Let's do 5 inches or 5.25 even, if we want to cover up that whole entire page. So let's do this. So that's the backdrop for our project. That's going to cover that page really nicely. I would like to trim it a little bit smaller after looking at it. I think we can have some of the original page showing. So I'm going to trim it one more time. I don't love the bottom, so let's just trim off. Let's trim off like 1/2 inch or so. So we can see a little bit, a little bit of the design top and bottom, but not the whole thing. Perfect. Okay. Hello, Jennifer. Thank you, Jennifer. So funny. Okay, so I don't know if you I don't know who heard me or who was, because I said it at the very end of yesterday's video, right? So the new shipment of Italian paper is here. I haven't gotten it out of the box yet, but it is here. So next, I want to trim the piece that I'm going to put on the top of there. And I think we can make the top, the decoration, a pocket. So this is going to be, here's my plan. This, I will strengthen up. I will glue it to something else, strengthen it up, and I will put it here. We're going to put a thumb notch here at the top, and this is going to be a really large pocket down the back of this, okay? And then on the front, for the decorative thing on the front, I'm going to use this botanical and put it here, but that's also going to be a pocket. This page comes from this, oops. Yeah, you should never leave that open. It's dangerous. This page, the botanical page, comes from this book. I've shown you guys this book before, but just in case somebody needed it, the botanical pages I'm using come out of this book. It's called Florilegium, and this is the author's name up here. So this book comes from Amazon. I believe it's in the $22 to $25 range. It is a big, thick book, and it is beautiful. I don't have links. I have an Amazon thing where I could get commission or whatever, but I'm not really into that right now. So it's one more thing I don't have time to do. So that's where the book page comes from. Now I'm just going to snip off the white parts of this, and we'll see how that is size-wise. Let's trim it this way. This is the edge where I tore it out of the book, and it's rough. So we're just trimming off the white area. Let's trim this way. Trimming off the white area to get rid of that, if I could do it correctly. I'm having my trimmer on a pile of paper, and it is wiggling every time I make a cut. Don't put your trimmer on a pile of paper. Put your trimmer flat somewhere. Okay, so there's the decoration for that. We will again make those pockets. Let's throw that away. I hear the printer stopped out there. Don't know if it's done or what it's doing, but so this is where we're going to make our pocket. Again, we're going to have a pocket back here and a pocket right here. This is very simple, but it's a nice way to cover up a whole page by adding something that you do love. I love, the Italian text back there. I love how we can kind of see the little S peeking out, some of the red text. And then, the florals are beautiful. So it's a nice way to cover up a page that you maybe need to cover. I don't know how to say it. Anyway, let's just add some kind of scrap or misprinted paper. Let me grab a misprinted paper. Honestly, I don't know if I would use those giant ones. Let me see if I have anything misprinted that we can just throw on the back of this. This is another reason. So these were misprinted. The print head actually went out, so there's white lines all the way through. I'm just going to use, this is 28-pound paper. I'm just going to use it to back and strengthen up this page. So it doesn't matter which way I glue it. Okay, let's move this pile of goodness up here. My desk is so full of stuff right now. So very full. We're just gonna glue this. I can't wait to see it either. I'm super excited. I'm just gonna run glue really all over this to strengthen. So this isn't where I'm gluing it in the book. This is where I'm strengthening. Because I want to make mine a pocket. So when I put it in the book, I'm not going to put glue everywhere. And I just did that right on the paper that I'm using to strengthen. And then line it up as best as you can. And put that down. Then we're going to trim that off. I'm just going to use it with scissors quick. Usually you would wait for your glue to dry, but this is live, so we're going for it. Now, before I punch the thumb hole in the top up here, you do want to wait for that to dry at least for a couple of minutes, because your punches, they don't want to punch through things that have moisture in them. The punch will not give you a clean cut. Now you could put cardstock or something like that behind it, but your punch doesn't like to go through things with moisture. It's not going to ruin your punch necessarily, but it does make it where it will give you like a jagged cut, or you might tear your paper. So just wait a couple of minutes for this to dry a little bit, and then we'll take a thumb notch right out of the top up there. And I can see, because it was wet, your paper also slides and moves when you cut it, when it's got moisture on it too. So there we go. We'll give that a minute. Let's get this, because I want to make it a pocket too. Let me see. I mean, this one is pretty thick and sturdy, and I'm not trying to add a whole bunch of bulk. I'm going to put the same paper behind it just to add that strength. I don't want it to tear or something like that. So let's just do it. Let's just strengthen it up. This has glue all over it now. We'll try to do it like this. So again, this isn't the pocket. I'm not gluing the pocket down right now. I'm just gluing this to the backing to strengthen. This is a new glue stick, and it is extra creamy today. Extra creamy. Okay, let's get rid of that. I was going to use it, but it's super gluey now. We need another one. There we go. So when I print things, because I saw, printed paper packs, some of you guys have this exact one that I'm using. When I print things, sometimes you walk away from the printer and, the printer just starts, the print head gets clogged and it starts kind of leaving those white lines. And if you don't check your printer, it might print 20, 30 pages before you can catch it. And that's why I have all these misprints. You could use them with the little white lines on them. I've seen like Gail will use sometimes if the white lines are bad, she'll use them. For me, these were printed paper packs that I sold, so I'm not going to sell you guys ones with white lines on them. But that's where those came from. That's why I have so many of the same one. It's because I walked away from my printer. Hi, Christy. Good morning. So I'm going to put that down. Perfect. And again, I'm going to let that dry for just a minute before I thumb hole punch it. So the plan is for this to be glued onto here like that. You could, if you wanted to, sew around it. The only thing I will say is if you sew around your pocket before you glue it to the back page. Because if you glued on your pocket 3 sides and then you wanted to sew around it 3 sides, anytime you sew through paper, so like if you sewed through this and then you're trying to stick like a journal card, so if you glued it on here and you sewed around your pocket, when you stick a journal card down here, a lot of times the corners of the journal card will catch on the stitching if it goes through to this side. So if you want to sew this piece independently and then glue it on, because otherwise that stitching is going to hang up. Like if this was a journal card and it was going through, like this little corner right here is going to catch on that stitching. And it's because when you sew on paper, the needle goes through paper and it pierces it, and it actually punches a little hole. It does this. It punches the little hole and it leaves the paper all perforated and sticking up like this. And then there's the thread and it gets caught, your journal card, whatever, gets caught on that. For these are the other 3 journals, or the other 2 journals. I made the holes really big intentionally because I know I'm putting fabric and lace on the spine. So for just ease of sewing in the signature, I went ahead and pushed my all the way through to make bigger holes. So don't stress about that. It's getting covered with fabric and lace. But again, just sew your pocket so that your card's not going to get stuck on it. Okay. Oh, Flo. That's a beautiful name. Andrea, my friends call me Flo. Perfect. Nice to meet you. Okay, let's try thumb hole punching these. You guys know that I like to use this to thumb hole punch. I think it creates a very, very beautiful little notch, and it's more oval than it is circular, which is my preference. So I try to line it up. I had coffee this morning and my hands are already shaky. That's center-ish. I should have put these together to punch, but they are kind of wet. So anyway, it just makes more of a notch that's not a circle. I want more of an oval notch to my notches. You guys do what your preference is, but this guy, the tab punch, actually makes the perfect little oval, in my opinion. For whatever reason, the circle ones, I can't do it. I think the circle ones are just like, they're too like modern looking. I just don't like them. So I'm going to make mine this way. And I just got glue all over the back of this because my mat was gluey. I guess you could say the little circle ones are kind of like a pet peeve of mine. It's just like, I don't know. I don't like it. Now, I'm not supposed to say things like that. I'm supposed to say everything that everyone makes is beautiful all the time. But the circle ones are a pet peeve. Obviously, it's just my feeling about it. It's my personal taste. It has nothing to do. Everyone can make their own personal thing, right? Their own personal taste. It's just for whatever reason, my brain can't do it. So let's glue these 2 together. I was trying to get them dry. I should turn on the ceiling fan in here because it's hot. But even though it is 7:57 a.m., it is 99 degrees. So, that's just what we deal with. I'm going to glue these together. I don't think we need to put anything else back there. I will decorate down here a little bit. I'm thinking of a little bit of the scripty washi tape and maybe a little label or something. But let's glue those two together. I'm sorry if you make circle hole punches. I don't mean to be. Maybe I'm hungry. I don't know. I haven't eaten today. I mean, it's 7:50 in the morning, but normally I don't eat until later. And I had coffee. So because I had that stomach surgery, I can't do food and coffee. If I have coffee, it has to be, one or the other, right? So, and then for the bottom of this, I kind of glue it a little thicker down at the bottom. And then just make sure you get where the stress points are, a little thicker glue. And I'll explain that again for new people. So I made the glue at the bottom a little thicker just by going in a wave. And then I put an extra dot up here at the top, and that's where the stress points are. So now we're just going to try to get this on here kind of evenly spaced where we want it. And I used art glitter glue. That's roughly where I need it. Sorry, my phone is making noise. I don't know what it is, but it's making noise. So, okay. So there's that. And that's, there's Etsy. I think somebody was like hearting everything in Etsy and then they made a purchase. Thank you to whoever made a purchase in Etsy. They're still doing whatever they're doing. So that's what we have so far. In a minute, once we decorate this, we're going to glue it to there. Let's go ahead and put some scripty washi tape across down here at the bottom. And then, so I like this. Let's try both of these. There's two here that I've been using a lot. We have one that looks like the little grid paper, and we have one, where is it, that looks like scripty stuff. These ones, I think, came from Amazon years ago. These two really wide ones came from Amazon. And I think they were in a set with other ones that I didn't like, but I kept these two. So we could do the little graph paper one that might look nice with like a little label, or we could do the scripty. Not upside down scripty. I'm leaning towards the graph. I don't know. The graph. Let's do the graph paper. It's different. So I stuck that one to my plastic bin over there. And so stick that one. I just tore off a little section. Kind of want to make it a little jaggedy. Okay, that's good. I got a little plastic bin right to the front of my desk here, and that's where I am sticking my extra washi tape. Good morning, Rosa. Good morning. So let's get some glue on this. The glue stick's a mess. Let's get some glue on this. It is washi tape. You can glue it if you want to glue it. If you don't want to glue it, don't glue it. I add glue just because I'm worried about it staying stuck over the years. So I'm using art glitter glue, or not art glitter. I'm using Oohoo glue. I'm messing with the art glitter glue because it's bubbling up. So let's just stick that roughly right there. And then I'll trim off this little extra bit right here in just a second. But we've got that on there. That's what it looks like. And then we're going to find a little label. The reason why I didn't use the scripty is because I knew that I wanted to stick a label that had some kind of writing in the label. And if I used the scripty, maybe the scripty would conflict with whatever was written in the label. So this way, if I've got the graph, it just seemed a little easier. It won't conflict. Ooh, we might put some of that on too. I love that. I've been using it on everything. So in this little bin, I have like some little labels. These labels, I couldn't tell you where they are from because it's from a while ago. We're probably going to use that one. It's like, honestly, I don't know, and I don't want to say the wrong one, but all of these little labels were from one specific shop, and I cut them out a long time ago. I don't remember. Maybe somebody in chat will recognize where they came from and can help us out, but I don't remember where they came from. I've had them in that bin for probably 4 years, a long time. So I am going to ink around the edge of this because the frame of this label is brown and I printed it on a cream colored cardstock. And so it has just a little bit of cream color showing around the brown border. Let's kind of ink a little bit here or there on the label too, so it doesn't look so perfect. And we'll glue that there. We can use glue stick for that. The label is cardstock, however, it's small, so I'm just going to heavily glue it, really heavily glue it with Oohoo. And I'm going to stick that in the center. You could put some more book page in a different kind of font or text or whatever back there. I'm just going to wipe up that little bit of glue there. Okay. Coffee. I know, Rhea. I know. Yikes, Kate. Uh-oh. Did I say something bad, Jennifer? Yikes. I don't remember what I said back then. That was, what, 7 minutes ago? I don't remember 1 minute ago. So let's make sure that's straight. Because you have graph paper, it really needs to be straight when you have something where visually, you can tell if it's crooked. So let's trim off this little piece and let's glue this pocket down. So I will make 2 more of these, probably off camera because I'm, trying to not make you guys bored. But I will make 2 more of these for the other 2 journals. Do we want some of this or do we not? And if we did it, where would we do it? On the little pocket? Let me see if we want this or if we don't want this. I put this rubber band on here in an effort to keep this paper tape from unraveling all the time. It wants to come off all the time. So I started putting rubber bands around things like this to keep them from coming loose. Let's see if we like this. I kind of think we do like it. Maybe on the little pocket right there, and then I'll just cut it off. I think we do. We can keep it kind of over. Let's just do it. Let's just do it. I don't think anyone ever has complained about having some of this German measuring tape stuff on their ephemera. Maybe, I don't know. And so I'm going to let that sit for just a second, and then we'll cut that off. Oh, the 99. Oh, I know. It's ridiculous. And it's, the end of August. So even if, which I am not this person, but even if you liked the heat, by the end of August, everyone is done with it. Now, I don't like the heat at all. I would really like to move out of state. You can see we have a nice big pocket here. And we'll have another nice big pocket back here in the back. Now, you could have made a clip up here at the side and made this, where there was a side pocket to put a big journaling card or something like that. For whatever reason, I like mine to come out the top, because when you put a big tag in there, do I have a giant tag? I kind of do. Well, this isn't the big one, but when you put a big tag up here at the top, you can leave all your little ribbons and fancy bits popping out of the top of the journal so that you can actually see the ribbons coming out up there. You could do it from the side too, and then put like a little charm hanging out. I tend to go at the top. Just, I don't know. I get set in certain habits and then they stay there. So let's glue this down. For pockets, I always glue with art glitter glue. And I'm not trying to go over wide, but sometimes it happens. Art glitter glue for pockets, for strength. And again, I can go a little bit wider down here at the bottom and a little bit heavier at that dot at the top. Yeah, I'm so ready for the heat to go away. So ready. It'll be here through middle of October. Probably. Okay. So I want a little bit showing at the bottom, a little bit showing at each side. That looks good. I made sure that my pocket was not going all the way over into the spine, the center part of my journal. If you put your ephemera on your page and you put it right up against this page over here, if you put it right up against there, your journal is going to be more gator mouthed than if you don't. And it adds so much bulk there in the center that your pages don't turn nicely either. You want your journal to where whoever is working in the journal can open it up as flat as possible to write in, to work in, etc. And if you start putting all of your stuff over here, you know, if you get one or two, it's not as bad. But if you are in the habit of lining up all of your stuff, your ephemera pockets all the way up there, it does create a problem when someone is trying to open up the book and work in it, and then it makes it more gator. Okay, let's get this closed before it gets a clog in it. I think that is a beautiful, too close, a beautiful big pocket there. And that was really simple. It was just Rachel's printable botanical book page, some washi, label, and German tape. I think it's really beautiful. And it goes really nicely with what we got going on over here. Color-wise, these darker bits kind of really went with these, I think. So that was one. Hello, Lisa. I know it's Saturday morning. I will have some I have thousands of misprinted ones because sometimes I'm just busy and I don't have time to babysit that printer. So sometimes it just goes, and sometimes I can't tell. Like when I look at the paper that's printed, I couldn't tell looking at it that there was this tiny little, you guys might not even be able to see it, but there's a tiny little faint white line that goes through, and you don't notice it walking by looking at it. If I try to hold this up super close, you can kind of see the white line starting right there. So sometimes I don't know, and it prints sometimes hundreds of pages if you're not paying attention. So I will make some packs of misprinted digitals, and that way you could use the good bits out of them for collage or whatever. But I will make some packs, and they will be super, super cheap because I just have more than I'm going to be able to use, in all honesty. So that was one thing that we made. I will make two more for the other two journals. These are the other two journals. I did get the signature sewn in. You will notice on these ones, I did not put the fabric down the center like I did with this one. Reason being is on these two, the white and the red one, I'm going to put this fabric. It's definitely going on the red one. The red stripe will go on the red. However, this one, I am probably going to use the Osnaburg fabric, something more neutral in color. Both of them will have lace over top of the fabric. So I'll put a fabric piece and then I will put lace on top of it. So I didn't put this fabric inside. And when I sewed in the signature, I did not, for whatever reason, I forgot to add in this page. So I am contemplating cutting out my signature so that I can add in this page. I believe that is what I am probably going to do. If you have to cut out a signature for whatever reason, it's fine. Clip your pages the same way you had them clipped when you sewed in your signature. Snip your strings wherever, usually from the center, snip your strings. You can gently unclip it, add in whatever you're trying to add in, and re-sew it. Your holes are already there. You're going to use the same holes. So because I forgot these pages and I really want them in there, I think I might do that. I was playing around with an idea of just gluing this page down, because if you glue this page completely down, it will hold in these pages. So if I don't snip it out, which I probably will, I will glue down this page to hold in these pages. Anyway, so that was a little late night boo-boo where I thought all of the pages were in the signature, but apparently I forgot to add those ones in. So that's what happened with that. For this guy here, we have some decorative pockets that we're going to put here, and I'm going to do a little more collaging on the front and the back of the cover. And then there will probably be a pocket here. So this one also will have lace and or an extra piece of fabric going down the spine, probably just lace. We'll see how it looks when I finally get to decorating that part. These are the little flip outy envelope things. This is the window envelope. I need to make 2 more of those for the other journals. And I also need to create this flip out here out of, it's a tuck here. It needs more decorating here, writing space, and the little flip out piece. I need to make both of those for the other journals. Let's get the paper off the printer and make whatever we're going to make with those. Okay. So assuming that the print heads worked right, I did print her pages this is the 5x7 size. So instead of printing them full page like I had done just a minute ago, wherever those are now, if they're lost in the pile, I printed some out 5x7 size just so that we could have some smaller text. The big text was fine on that full page pocket, but probably not what I would like for the other one. So these ones are the coffee dyed. See right here, the printer got off a little bit. These ones are the coffee dyed backgrounds that I have. I think these are listed in Etsy. They're listed in some colors in Etsy, but maybe not the coffee dye. I need to put the coffee dye one in Etsy, but I printed them on the backs of all of her decorative papers. So we're going to go right here. These 2 are extra. Okay, cool. So we have some printed. So these ones are Rachel's paper on the front and my coffee dye on the back. I needed these so that we can play and make some ephemera pieces. I want to make some little folded, kind of like a folded paper tag where you can unfold it and write on the inside. These pages are not any of the pages that are in the journals. So I didn't want to use the same paper because those papers are already a paper in the journal, right? So I want to use different papers. So that's what these are. All of these are different, and all of them have coffee dye on the back. Let's use this one to start with. So this is going to be super, super simple. You've got coffee dye there. If you have any of my coffee dyed papers, you could scan them. So I just need to decide which one I want on the front. Do I want this on the front to decorate with, or do I want this on the front? I think I want that. So here's what I want to do. I want to fold it roughly, what is this? 1, 2, 3, roughly 3.5. I usually make my tags 3.5. So roughly 3.5. And then you want to fold this one over. So you're folding your page into thirds, basically. You want to leave a gap here. You don't want to fold all the way into the fold here. You want to leave a little gap so that everything folds and opens nicely. And then when you fold this one, it's not going to come completely over. It stops about a third of an inch, a quarter of an inch, something like that. It stops there. And that's just naturally, occurring because of the size I folded it. You want that. You want it to not fold 100% over to the edge. You want to leave a little bit of space there because, we want a little thumb notch or something decorative there, right? So I I know, Kendall. I had to do it 10 minutes before we went live. I didn't have time to go get coffee this morning. You guys saw I had to even buy and print digitals. I don't know what happened, but I just didn't have time to go get coffee. So I made coffee at home, and that's fine, but it doesn't give me the same kick as the other coffee does. Good morning. Good morning. Okay. Not a big scanner. You'll just get more. Perfectly acceptable. Okay. So I'm just basically going to decorate the front of this. I think I'm going to cut it to a tag shape. I just think it will look nice as a little tag in the, so I'm going to try to use this. I don't know. I think I want to cut it to a tag shape at the top. This guy doesn't cut enough of a notch, in my opinion. So let's just hand cut it. And we're just going to make a big tag point there. Now, this one, I'm just going to have to do it by eye because we're going to have to adjust by eye because I had already punched the corner of it and it wouldn't line up anyway. So there we go. We've cut it into a tag shape at the top, and it's going to open like this, and you're going to have writing space. Now, we might put some little pockets in here to tuck some little ephemera bits or something. I think, if you leave the center as writing space, then you would add little corner pockets out here to each of the flaps. Or if you wanted even less bulk than the 2 pockets, you would add a pocket here in the center and leave both of these as writing space, which is probably what I'll do, is just add a little pocket here in the center. Then on the outside part, we could do a little bit of decorating if we wanted on this one. I'm not sure if I will or I won't, but I definitely will add decorating on the front part. If I'm going to stick this in a pocket, I wanted to put a tab right here. But if I want to stick this, do I have a pocket? Do I have a pocket in here yet? I think we do somewhere. We have one pocket that we made right here. Not that I would stick it in this pocket, but if I stick this in a pocket, the tab needs to be up here where it's not going to interfere with it sliding in a pocket. Because the tab is going to stick out the side over here pretty far, if you put your tab down here or, wherever, however big your pocket is, it might interfere with it sliding in the pocket. So just be aware of that. When I do this one, I guess we'll make it so that we can put it in a little pocket like this, and we'll put our tab right here. So we need to punch a tab out. My preference is to use cardstock tabs. If you do not have a cardstock tab, you can thicken up whatever paper you want to use. Let me grab some. Let me grab some Florentine paper. Let's grab Florentine paper and make a tab out of that. So we just want one that visually looks pretty with what we already have going on there. This is a nice color, but is this going to be... Oh, that is really, really close. Let's see if we can use it. I don't know yet whether we can, but let's see. Do I have any cardstock? Cardstock offcut. I probably do in my trash can. Yeah, I'm digging in my trash can now. I just want a cardstock little scrappy piece. This isn't wide enough. Well, I guess not in my trash. In my other room, I have a bin that has cardstock scraps in it. For now, let's just grab cardstock. Somewhere in here we had cardstock. Let's grab cardstock. That's watercolor paper. It's way too thick. Okay, here's cardstock. This piece. You guys got a piece. Sorry for my arms in the camera. You guys got a piece of cardstock just like this in your kit. Set these over to the side. I just want to glue my Florentine paper to some cardstock just to make it sturdy for using as a tab. You could use the paper, but it would be really thin and it may not hold up over time, right? So when I put this down, I'm going to try to only have to cut 2 sides. I mean, it's going to be punched, so I guess we're not really having to worry about it too much. But that's that. And then I'm going to leave it on here. Let it dry for a minute before you try to punch it. Because like I said before, if you try to run that through your puncher with that wet glue, it's not really going to cut that great. This is on cardstock, so it'll do better than if you just had 2 pieces of paper or whatever. But let's let that dry for a minute, and then I'm going to I'm going to punch it out with a label thingy. We're going to attach that to the side of this over here, just kind of as a little helper so that people know, hey, this opens. Let's work on the pocket inside while we wait for that to dry. Yeah, Kendall, it is a learning curve. It is. Yep. That's how I make mine, is with the plastic lace. I do also make it with regular lace, like lace tablecloths, and it comes out completely different than this. I haven't been making coffee dye for a while. I'm using up all the coffee dye that I had backstock of, but eventually I'll bring back coffee dyed lacy paper for you guys. It just takes a huge amount of space, number one, to make, and a lot of time. So let's make the pocket. I think I'm just going to put the pocket in the center. We can add a little embellishment on either corner of these guys, but let's just put the pocket in the center. And I know that I want my pocket to have some Florentine paper on it. Let's make a Florentine paper pocket right here, and we'll add a little embellishment on that side. Or where are those sturdy book pages that I made? This is perfect. This is the one I was looking for. So this is 2 pieces of rag paper glued together. And I glued it a long time ago, so it's all the way dry. Let's use that for our pocket base right here. And then let's put the Florentine paper and another decoration on it. I am using basically the same formula as I did for other pockets we already made. I just need to know the exact. It's about 3 3/4. We want our pocket to be slightly smaller than the total width here. You can't have your pocket go all the way to the corners, or these aren't going to fold nicely. You need to leave a little tiny gap right there. So 3 3/4. 3 3/4 is here. I want to even this out so that I have my text centered. So I'm cutting a little bit off of each side. Let me do a little more off this one. Okay. So mine should be perfectly sized to go in there. I'm going to leave the height of the pocket the same, I believe. So I don't know if you guys can see, but there is space on both sides of my pocket here so that these will fold. Okay, I like it. I think it's a good size. I think it's a good height. We're good. Let's decorate it. And I'm just going to do simple, quick decoration. I know I want this big flower piece on here. Just going to kind of tear that piece off. We'll save it. We'll get some Florentine paper. I like it. It's a lot of Florentine paper, but I'm going to go with it. So let me glue the top part of this. I could tear it off, but I'm just going to glue it and then cut it. This is super, super wet glue stick, which is odd for me because I've had these in for a while. Usually they're much, much drier than that. But, that's good. It's good, but it's wet. So I'm leaving it overhang a little bit, and I'll trim that off. And I just glued it, and we'll cut all that here in a second. So there's that part of it. We need a focal point. It already has a flower on it, so I'm probably going to put a bird on it. We did pull bird pages somewhere. I know I did. Pull bird pages right in this pile. We have a little music we could use for decorating something. Need to find birds. Birds. Birds are right here. These are really large birds. I know they will be too big for this. Here's some smaller birds. Those ones will be too big. Too big. I need to print some small birds, apparently. Let's see if we can find one of these ones that will work for us. On this little page, there's some smaller ones. All of those are too big. Put that there. I don't think we want to put an owl, but maybe we do. He will just about fit. Maybe we want to put that owl there. I don't know. Let's just do it. Let's just fussy cut him out quick, and we'll put him on there. He might get a little haircut when we put the thumb notch in, but, you know, that's all right. He can have a little haircut. His tail feathers also might get trimmed off. I'm actually going to trim that one right now because I know it will get trimmed. Yeah, we can trim off all of that. Okay, so there's an owl. Let me see what's going on here. You guys are talking about coffee and tea dyeing. Awesome. Okay. Let me put this little owl down on there, and then we need to find a label. The formula is pretty much Florentine paper. You know, your focal point, Florentine paper. So book page as a base, Florentine paper, and a label. I'm sorry. Florentine paper, book page as a base, and a label, and a focal point. Goodness. Okay, let me trim this. It's because I'm thinking about chat. I wanted to go pull some. I have some tea right around the corner that I wanted to show you guys. If you guys are going to do some dyeing of paper, I wanted to show you that tea. So I will go grab that here in a second. We didn't get glue here on our Florentine paper. So let me fix that quick. Didn't get my glue down far enough. Okay, now we've got it. So I could have and should have moved him down a little bit, but I think we're going to be okay there. Let me try cutting this. So we're just going to make a little thumb notch right there. We didn't even cut his ear off. We're good. Now we need a little label. Let's look in this bin of pre-cut labels so that we don't have to spend 5 hours. This one just says leaf. Any of those will work, honestly. There's a tall one. I just need one of those brown labels. I think the one that we have is probably good enough. One of those ones. I don't want to spend an hour looking for it. So if this pocket was here, do we want this big label? I think that we do. So it needs inked around the edge. Again, it's one of those ones that I printed on cream cardstock, and it has a brown label border. So I'm going to ink it. only to blend in that cream cardstock. And it's already distressed, so we're good to stick that on there. It's a little naturey, and it's perfectly fine to have nature in your Italian ladies. Let me get glue on this one. And this isn't going to hold like a big bunch of ephemera. It's going to hold something very light and thin because, you know, it's in something, a tag that's going to be removable out of a pocket. So I'm not putting a ton of glue on this. And I just want to line it up about even with the space we have. And stick that down. The little label has shifted. Let me put it back straight. Okay. So there's that. And then if I have one of these, something like that will go in there. Okay, that's actually a really great color combination for that pocket. I may just leave that in there, but we'll wait for the glue to dry. But this little tag that we just made, it's just a printed tag that we embellished yesterday. I mean, this is perfect for that. It kind of folds over. I don't really even mind that there's lacy stuff. I could remove it if I, you know, thought it bothered me. Let's get our tab put on the outside. And let me take this out because we just put wet glue in there. Let's take that out for a minute. Let's punch this. Let's punch this. Okay. Good, it works. Perfection. So here is our cute little Florentine tabs. If you guys have a bunch of scraps of Florentine paper that are small in size, or if you just want to sit down and glue some Florentine paper, just take your cardstock. So pretend that this was a full sheet of Florentine paper. Pretend that this was full sheet, like we guys, you know, you bought the huge sheets from me. For anyone new, this is what I sell, and I have a new shipment coming. So in a week or two, maybe this Tuesday, I'm not sure, we'll sell the Florentine paper again. When you get the huge sheet, it's a 20 by 28 inch sheet. Take a full size sheet of cardstock if you want to, glue it, glue your cardstock, and then put your cardstock on the back of your Florentine paper. And then while you're watching TV one day, just sit and punch out some tabs. If you don't want a full sheet of the same tab, you know, use smaller sheets of cardstock or something like that, or use your scraps of Florentine paper like I just did. But that's a good way, you know, it's a good activity while watching TV to cut out a bunch of cute little Florentine tabs. And a Florentine tab will literally match and go with everything in every style of journal. So Florentine tabs that you make yourself, you guys can see the gold, hopefully. They're really, really cute. Okay, we fold it. We ink it. The inking is necessary, in my opinion, on the tabs, just because we glued it to cream colored cardstock, and you're going to see little bits of the cream colored cardstock. So fold it in half. I'm assuming you guys know how to use the tabs. And then you glue. A lot of people don't understand how you do it, but you glue from the circular part. So you put your glue all over the one side, all over the other side. But when you put this on the paper, let me show you on this. When you put this on the paper, lift my glitter glue open. That will be disastrous. When you put it on the paper, you line up, you don't put it all the way on like this, obviously. You line it up to where the circular part on both sides, the circular part here, and the circular part here are all the way to the edge of your paper. You want the actual little tab completely off of the cardstock. A lot of people kind of get it down too far or get it up too far this way. You want to line it up to where those points, both of them, are on the edge of your cardstock. So I use art glitter on tabs. You could use glue stick. It will work just fine. Just put a little bit of it. You don't want it super thick. Put it together. Again, keep your tab up to where it is not going to interfere with a pocket. It looks perfectly fine. It looks perfectly fine near the top. So I'm just lining mine up, getting it all the way over, and pushing it together. So now we have the cutest little tab up there on the top. Now we need to decorate the front of this. I love Florentine paper tags. I am literally going to make a million of them if ever I get time to sit and watch TV. Okay, that's on there securely. You could put a little number, a little label. In fact, we have them here. You could put a little number, something small like that if you wanted, or even smaller, like this little guy. He's super tiny and super cute right there. We might put him on there. But you could put a little embellishment on your tab too. It doesn't have to just be left plain. Let's go ahead and decorate the rest of this. I'll put it up there at the top. We may or may not add it. I don't like covering up the Florentine paper, honestly. So I'm going to put some book page right here. I think we might use the ones we just printed. Let me pull those out. We printed, I could use this antique book page. That's a nice color, but we printed those ones small. Where did I put them? Oh my goodness. We printed it. Remind me to grab the tea from the other room to show you guys for copy dyeing or tea dyeing. Oh, right here. Okay, they're in this pile. We printed the small, these ones. The smaller size pages. I know I have a hot mess going on. And I just saw something that we might use to decorate this. So let's pull those. Okay. So I just want a piece of this book page, I believe. We could have this old music page. Let's just use a piece of this. So I'm just going to cut this quick to get it out of the paper. I am going to tear it, but I like to take off the white. Kind of gives me a clean slate, I guess, to tear. Come on. It's stuck. Okay. So I just want a piece of this. If I can keep this P or some of this text up there, that will be good. I'm going to tear it really messily, actually. I don't like it when I get points when I tear. Do you guys like points when you tear? And then let's think. I would like to keep the P showing, but I also want a focal point. So I don't know if that'll work out, but let's give that a shot and let's find something to put on the front of there. I printed a bunch of these little ladies. Let me fussy cut one of those. It's a different kind of a lady. It's not like, I mean, it is probably, it's Victorian, but some of you guys, I think, have this in your kit and it might be a different size, a larger size. That would probably even be better here. Let me get the larger one before I fussy cut that whole entire thing. If you have the larger one, it would have came in your ephemera here. We have this lady. I think she actually goes color-wise better than this one does. Let's do this one. I don't know if everyone did not get the same little printable part right here. I just printed a bunch of things that I liked randomly. So you may or may not have this lady, but if you do, I'm going to put her on here. If you don't have this one, you have a different one. That was in the little printable ephemera. That ephemera is not part of Rachel's kit. That ephemera is stuff I printed for you guys. We will have a new journal kit for September. So this was the August junk journal kit from my live sales. And we will have a new kit that I will show and sell on Tuesday. At least that's the plan, if I can get it done. Show and sell on Tuesday. And then that will be the junk journal that we will make for the month of September. In all honesty, I have not started making the kit. I started pulling some items together, and then I kind of, I don't know which way to go. So we had some unpleasant things happen on the channel recently. You guys are aware that video was out there, me explaining what happened. All of that conflict and drama and whatever caused me to have to redo the September junk journal kit because that junk journal was, well, I just had to redo it. Let's just leave it at that. So I had to redo the whole thing starting from scratch. And then once I had to redo it, I wasn't sure, should we make this like a Halloween or fall themed journal, or should we just go with a more general theme? So I wasn't really sure which direction I wanted to go. I'm still not sure. I have an idea in my head, but I'm not sure. So if I did a Halloween journal, let me see how I want to cut this. I think I'm just going to cut most of this off to kind of make it easier for myself. I don't want the white bits, so I'm going in and fussy cutting the white bit. I'm just going to ink that little, maybe I'll just cut it out. Anyway, so if I did a Halloween, if it was not like spooky, gory Halloween, how many of you guys would want to do, like, let's just phrase it like this. How many of you guys would want to do a Tim Holtz Halloween journal for September? If you don't want to do Halloween, that's totally fine. I understand. For me personally, I'm trying again to figure out how to get in here and cut these little bits. For me personally, I don't do the gory, scary, I don't do that kind of Halloween. I do a, like cutesy Halloween, like a vintage cutesy Halloween. Just, religiously and all kinds of other reasons. I don't do like, that kind of witches and things like that. I mean, I'm not saying there isn't going to be like a cute little witch or something, but if I do it more like, a kid's costume kind of witch, not like evil witch. This is just my preference. So if I made a kit that had, Halloween stuff in it, would you guys want to do that? Or would you rather something more spooky, mysterious? To do super cutesy for the baby girl. Love Halloween. Yes, do Tim Holtz Halloween. You'd have to alter to fall theme. Yeah, and if I did Halloween, I would want it to where you didn't have to be locked into Halloween for those people who didn't want to. Just because I know it's not going to be everyone's preference or whatever. So I'm not sure I'm liking how this paper is torn right here. Maybe we can do it. Maybe we can't. Let me re-tear this side. Let's see if that will work a little better. Anyway, so I still have to do it. And a kit, you know, to make a kit, it takes quite a bit of time. So we will try. I'm going to lose my little P right here. It's just not working for me. Competing with her head, honestly. So let's just glue this down right there. I'm still not loving the tear of this paper. I do this all the time where I just don't love the tear. And now it's too small. So let's start with another one. I don't know. I'll figure out the junk journal at some point this weekend, I hope. I'm going to make this quicker. So I will figure it out, but it's proving to be difficult. When you thought you were going to do, you know, you had it all set, you had a plan, like, it's just so hard to go back in and redo everything. But, you know, that's just kind of how it is. So that's what I got to do. Okay, I think we can do something like that with less of a point right here. Okay. I'm just going to glue it and we're going to figure it out. I'm tired of tearing this paper. I say that and then I tear it again. Okay, I'm good. Let's glue it. So I will figure it out, but it's good to know. I love masquerade, circus, Halloween, fall, yes. I can't do like spooky gothic. I can't do that. That's just not me. Now, if you guys got the regular kit from me, then you're, you know, obviously you can tailor that kit to whatever kit you want it to be. You could add in whatever digitals you wanted to add in. So when I glue this, I'm going to open this up because I don't want to glue it onto this other page that's here. So, but I glued the whole thing. That's going to prove difficult now. Just got to be careful. I'm going to have to cut it while it's wet because I don't want to get glue on the other side. So now we have something that looks like, move it up so I can fit my lady up there. Something that looks like that. And I'm just trying to get the text fairly straight on that page. And then let's cut off this overhanging bit. I don't know, I might just scrap the whole fall Halloween and go back to doing a style of antique journal. We could maybe do a French one. It's the boho one that I was planning for September that I've had to scrap and go back and figure out from scratch. I think if you think of boho and you'll probably understand why I had to scrap it and start all over. So let's just put her on there. I don't feel that she absolutely has to have a label, but maybe. I'm really trying to get her head on there. Here's the problem. She really needs to be more up here because this whole bottom part is going to go into a pocket. And I have really struggled. And the reason why I've struggled so much with this is because I'm talking the whole entire time and my brain's thinking of kits. So I'm going to put another piece of paper on this and I need to like stop thinking in my especially on days where I have coffee, my brain goes so fast. It already has, you know, some ADD and whatever, but my brain goes so fast. I don't want to cover up my tab. My brain goes so fast that it's hard. I lose my train of thought and I get like ADD. So I added some extra paper up there so that I can move my lady up. and I'm much happier with that. So let's cut off that extra bit. There we go. I'm going to focus now. I was doing good. Got to focus again. Thank you guys for your input on the kit. I promise whatever kit it is, it's going to be beautiful and something everyone can play with. And, you know, as all of the kits are, if it's not something, if I put some element in there and it's not something specifically you would use, of course you don't have to use it. You can use whatever, you know, you want to use. Let's get this glued. I'm just going to use glue stick, but I'm going to have to be careful because there is a lot of little fiddly bits, specifically her head and her headpiece, her little hands, her feet. Okay. That little end right there. Let's get her glued on. Sorry if I'm not exactly finishing my thoughts. I got focused now. We'll get it. We'll get it. So there's that one. We will put a label down here now, and I can still leave this showing. So I think that's okay because when it's in the pocket, it will be beautiful. Let's add a little bit of this up here at the top. It's going to stick up out of a pocket, so I think that would be cool to see. Now I'm at the point where my rubber band is just ever so slightly too big for my paper curl. Okay, let's add this to the top. This is my go-to top of page embellishment, and I'm going to glue the whole thing and maybe wrap it around. We'll see how it looks to the back side. Let's get that up there. I don't maybe want all of this here at the end. Stick that to something. Okay, there we go. That's nice. And then let's just wrap this around right here. I think we're going to put a little embellishment. It's got glue on it. I think we're going to put a little embellishment maybe down here in the corner, maybe up here on this side, just so that this is all balanced out decoration wise. Let's find a label for right here. I have been liking those brown ones in this bin. We might put a Rachel label there. So if I did a Rachel label, I would want maybe the medium size. Do I have the medium size one that I'm looking for? Cut out? I thought I cut out right here. This one. I kind of think it's too big. Let's see if I have the small one cut of this one or if I've already used it. I may have already used it. I think I did. So in that case, let's just put a brown one on. Or I can cut out that one right there, but let's look at a brown one. I don't know, the brown might conflict. You've got something that looks like that. You've got something, I want the light edge, the light border. See if I have something that has printing on it already. So I don't have to go back in and stamp. Sometimes I will leave them blank like this. So whoever buys the journal can write in there whatever they want. We might leave that one blank. Because I'm not finding a printed one that I love at the moment. I don't know where all the brown printed ones went. Okay, well, let's move that. We can use this one, or let me cut this guy out. Honestly, either of these two will work. These are kind of my favorite two out of this thing. And then there's this one. The little brown one. The brown one is really pretty. Let's use the brown one. It's just straight cuts, so it won't take me an hour either. No, I didn't cut them straight, but they were supposed to be straight cuts. Let's kind of fix this one. There we go. Okay, let's use this one. It's just a little more feminine. This is a little more like, I don't know, temples or something. Let's use this one down here. It kind of competes with that. Honestly, the bigger one of these, you guys are going to kill me. The bigger one of these might be better. Let me look. I have it cut. I promise I have it cut. The bigger one of those is right here. Let me see what it looks like. See, it's too big. It's either too big or too small. I need a different size of those labels. I printed the 5x7 size, so, you know, I just need to go back and maybe print something slightly larger. I'm going to ink the edge of this just because it's brown anyway. Okay, let's glue that right there. It works. I'm happy. I'm not going to spend more time. We're good. I could fuss, or I could fuss over every single thing. I could stress, whatever, fuss, obsess over every single little part of this. I'm going to keep this up there a little bit. Honestly, I could. There we go. That one's done. Except for the inside embellishments. Inside, we can just put, I think we're going to keep this tag in here, or a tag similar, whatever. It matches color-wise. It looks quite pretty in there. But I would like to add a little something here and a little something here. You could stamp something in there. Maybe we should use our ink stamps and stamp something in there. I think that might be actually nice on the coffee dye, just to stamp something. This one I'm just going to leave like this because we embellished all out here. If I leave this tag in, it is kind of bumpy right here because of the lace that's tied. So you just got to keep that in mind. It's up at the top. It shouldn't matter to anyone. And if it did, they could at least take the tag out. So let's leave that in because it looks nice. And let's, well, we can do this later at some point. You could stamp some images. You could put some German scrap or whatever you wanted to put. You could make a little cluster. You could add a little bit of washi tape. We have like a little piece of washi tape and do like a little cluster up there. Now I'm looking at it. We could do a little cluster up there. We have like this tiny little label. Let's just do that. I'm going to do it just down here, and then I'm going to leave it, and I'm not going to add anything else to it, and I'll show you why. So I'm just going to quickly put some glue on that. This is the leftover washi tape that I used just a few minutes ago. I'm going to ink this ever so slightly. This is a tiny little label. And again, I'm just going to get a little glue on it, or a lot of glue. That works too. And I'm going to stick that down on there. You could put book page there or something else, but for me, this is enough of an embellishment here. And we got all this going on here. You could put something else up there. Like I could try a little bit of this washi tape to kind of turn this into more of a cluster. I think we'll do that also. And then I swear I'm leaving it. I could keep adding and adding and adding. Basically, I put a little embellishment on both sides. So this one needs a little tiny label right there. But we put embellishment here, and pocket in the center. If you choose to do side pockets here, then you might just leave this blank, or you might put a little embellishment, a little stamp, a little something on there. The washi's fallen off. quickly. I don't want to use the same kind of label. What do I have? If I don't have anything right away, no, we're going to leave it. We're going to leave it. I may come in and add one more element to this little cluster. Like I probably will, but I don't have it. I don't have it in front of me to add. So eventually I'll put something here. But for now, this one is done and we're going to put it in a pocket. I don't have the pocket, that this is going in exactly in this book yet, but we will put it in and it will look like, where is that pocket? Well, it could go in this pocket. Just to show you what it will look like in a pocket. Okay. Now this pocket is up quite a bit, so it's sticking out a little more. You could trim off a little bit of the bottom if you wanted it not to stick out the top. Where is that other pocket? I know there's another pocket in this journal. We only have a couple pockets glued in right here. So this is kind of what it would look like. And then the person would take it out. They would use a little tab. You could put a little charm or something because it is removable. Opens up and they have writing space and more tags and stuff in there. So that's that one. Okay, I'm going to leave it out because I don't have the exact pocket that it would go in right now. Let's do. Thanks for joining, Rosa. It's not. It's sewn in. There's going to be lace and fabric down the spine, but it's just a sewn in. It's not a hidden. One signature. Yep, Jameen, one. A single signature journal. That kind of gothic I'm in for, Rhea. I am. Just not like the scary stuff. I just can't do it. Let me clean up this mess real quick. I'm going to keep some of these little bits and then we're going to throw away these ones. And then let's work on something else. So that was one of the folded printed papers. Let's make this into a pocket. All of you guys got, I believe, well, I shouldn't say all. I'm going to cut this out with a trimmer. I just want it to be perfectly straight, and I know it's not going to be if I hand cut it. So most of you guys got, I tried to put a frame, some sort of frame. It may not be this exact frame, but some sort of frame in the printed ephemera so that we can make a little pocket that has a window. So let's work on that. I know we're doing like pockety things and ephemera, all kinds of things. We're bouncing around. Let me turn it this way and cut this end off. A little bit more. And then there. So I'm just trimming this out of the paper. I'm attempting to. There we go. And then for the inside, you're going to have to hand cut that. You don't have to cut it out. You could stamp an image in there. You could put some book page, put a piece of book page that's the same size and, do like a focal point or whatever. You don't have to make this into a window envelope, but if you are going to make it into, not a window envelope, a window, if you are going to, just kind of lightly fold it, snip into it, any kind of hole you can stab into it, whatever your preference is for getting a hole to start fussy cutting, and then use your good fussy cutting scissors so that they're nice and sharp and cut around. This one has like a double border. I'm attempting to leave that border in there. We'll see how I do. But I want to cut out this little window so that we can make a pocket that will show the decoration on the tag that we slide into the pocket. And this will be glued down on a page. You could put your frame on a tag. Doesn't have to be turned into a pocket. But that's how I did. I see a little tiny bit here that I would like to recut. There's just the ever so slight amount of white showing right there. I don't want any white. You could probably ink it. Like I said, this has a double border. That's good. That little tiny paper girl. Okay, let's do this one. Exactly. Let's do. So first of all, you're going to need to strengthen this, and if you cut it into a window, you're going to need to put something back there. You can use Duralar to put in your window. It's basically a clear, like acetate type sheet. You could use a piece of plastic bag packaging to put in your window. Let me see what I have in this room, because I didn't plan this project, you guys know. I planned in my head, but grabbing the supplies is an entirely different thing. So you could use I have some onion skin. Onion skin, to me, it's too fragile to put in there. So I probably wouldn't use the onion skin. You could if you had to. Plastic bag packaging will work to put back there. It's basically the same stuff as a window envelope. What I'm looking for is some of my either glassine paper or the darker parchment paper. Okay, let me grab some glassine. Some of you guys a couple months ago, a couple weeks, I don't know. I think it was like a month and a half ago. Some of you guys got packs of glassine paper. This is a good project for that glassine paper. Use that inside of your window. It shows the thing behind it. It's not going to be as, clear as a plastic bag would be, or Duralar, or transparencies for overhead projectors. It's not going to be as clear as that if you use the glassine, but it will show it through. The glassine paper will basically look like this. So you'll see your image, but just kind of the shadow of it, right? So let me find something to put behind this window. Honestly, the paper bag or the plastic bag is in here, and a lot of you guys will probably only have plastic bag from packaging. So let's just use it. It's a good way of repurposing plastic that would normally go into a landfill or whatever. So I just rough cut. Obviously, if you're recycling, you would probably be better about cutting it. Then you want to go in and just size it. You want it smaller than your frame, but do not cut it so that it is tight to this window. Cut it so that it is more the size of the entire piece that you are doing. So I'm really just going to estimate here and cut. And I only need one piece, but I'm going to go ahead and cut two. The bag is double sided anyway, so I'm going to have an extra piece for the next window that I make for the other two journals. So yes, I did waste a lot. You'll be careful when you're cutting it and not waste a lot if it matters to you. Let's save this piece so I can use it. And then I just want to line it up and kind of see where I'm at size-wise. Just a little bit smaller all the way around because I don't want it to poke out this side. And so because it's plastic bag packaging and it's been shoved in a bin, it probably had Tim Holtz ephemera in it, in all honesty. It is a little bit wrinkly. So you can kind of see I kept it a little smaller all the way around, but not much. Like it comes to right here. I don't know if you guys can see. So it's just ever so slightly smaller, than my overall frame. Don't cut it tight to this window. Your glue is going to spread out and it's going to show through. You want to glue all the way out here away from your window. Okay, so let's glue this in. Now, because this is plastic, art glitter glue may stick or may not stick. Fabri-Tac may stick or may not stick. Glue stick probably isn't going to be strong enough to stick this. I'm going to try art glitter. We'll see how we go with it. If I need to pull this back off, then I will. So basically, I just kind of eyeball it and I put my glue on my paper. And so I want to put my glue way out here. And I'm not going to over glue it because I don't want my glue to stick. So I put my glue there and I want a wider strip of glue. Don't get it close to the window, but do a wider strip so that there is more for your plastic to stick to. If you just do a little line, it may hold, but a wider one gives it more surface area for that glue to hold. And now this is the most important part when you do this. Press your glue out and away from your window. Do not just smear your glue in because it will come through the other side of your window. Press it out and away from the window. And I don't know if this will hold or not. Art glitter for plastic, some does, some doesn't. Let's give that a minute and we'll see how it is. If that doesn't work, double-sided tape will work. If it is permanent double-sided tape, will work for this purpose. I have used my the big tape runner, the big pink tape runner also in some instances. But we have a window envelope now, or I keep calling it envelope, a window frame. I'm going to give that a minute to set and dry. I'm not sure it will. We will have to see. But in the meantime, I'm going to make this into a pocket. And so I want to put a backing on this. I want my backing to be decorative so that when the tag is out of this pocket, there's something pretty showing through there. And then I really loved this. So I think we're going to put this big red flower on the tag that's going to go in this pocket. It just happened to be laying there. It was lucky. I think we'll use it. The cutter bees, yes, definitely. Cutter bees are these scissors. I'm not sure if they still make them or not. But these are absolutely everyone that I know's favorite fussy cutting scissors. What's different about these is they have a very fine scissor edge, and it is so very, very sharp with a very sharp point. The Tim Holtz scissors are not for fussy cutting because they are serrated. You can use them. However, you're working twice as hard because you're fighting that serration, and it also does not give as smooth of an edge. I love the Tim Holtz scissors, but for different purposes, not fussy cutting. Any type of big scissors will also work for fussy cutting, but if you need to get into fine detail and be very precise, use your fussy cutting, cutter bee, whatever scissors you like for fussy cutting. Okay, I think this is holding. I don't see it lifting off. How I check to see if it's going to lift off is I kind of flex it a little bit. If my plastic doesn't seem to be coming off, then I think we're good to go. We're going to sandwich this onto a pocket anyway. So I think it's fine. I think it's good. We're going to go with it. The only thing I will say is I probably should have put this on cardstock first to strengthen it, but I think we're going to be okay to not do that. Let me see what we have for a base. We could use this. This is thin cardstock. We could use that for a base for our pocket. And we're just going to cover it with book page and cut it out. So I'm just going to rough cut this by hand. I'm not cutting my frame, but just cutting it roughly. This can be the base. of our pocket. Perfect. Okay, let's do it. I have to cut another one. Let's do it. Let's cover it with book page for our base. The Rachel printed book page is what I'm going to use. It has a little bit of red in the text. So because it has red in it, and I want to put that red flower on it, I think that would be perfect. These are the ones I'm talking about. We could even use that music back there, but I think my preference is just regular book page. So let's cut another one of these out. Let's glue it down to our cardstock, and then I'm like, where did I put it? Then when we have our window, we can kind of position it where this prettiness will show through. So it will look something like that. Okay. Let's work on that. We're just going to glue cardstock to it. Let me see. I think I want this to be the exact size before I start. That way I can get that E in there. So what I need to do in this instance, because I didn't strengthen my frame first, I'll say strengthen your frame first before you put your acetate or your whatever on it. I'm going to have to cut this to exact dimensions because I want that specific little E on the page. If you did this first, you would not have to be doing any of this that I'm doing right now. So for me, we're going to cut this little, how am I going to do this? We're going to cut this little guy off here. And then we're going to come in and cut this guy right there. Hopefully that is a lot closer to size so I can position the part that I want to show through. Okay, let's do this again. So what I was trying to do, because I didn't put this on cardstock before you put your window in, I didn't. So now I'm, having to make the base. I'm working on the base. It's still going to be a little thin. It's not super thin. I'm going to see how it goes. But for now, let's put this paper so that the E shows through. So basically, if I want it here, I need to glue this like that. I'm trying to line it up. Okay, I think we're good. Let's add glue to our cardstock. We got off a little bit on that one. We got off our track of doing good on that one. We can fix it. It's all good. There we go. Lots of glue on there. Where's my E? I got all this white at the top. I don't know if I'm going to get my E or not. I don't want the white up there. Let's see if this is good. I don't want my cardstock showing through, and I don't want the white of this top edge up here showing. Okay, I think we did it. Let's check it. Normally wait for your glue to dry. There we go. So you can see each little piece of ephemera that you make for a junk journal. For those of you that are new, for everyone that has made junk journals, you understand this. For each little piece of ephemera, look at how long and how much time it takes to make one little piece of ephemera, one little pocket, one little everything. And so when you're making an entire junk journal, yeah, you got a lot of pieces of ephemera to make. And when you make 3, you have even more. Now I'm going to go in, because I made my cardstock the exact same size, I'm going to go in and trim off a little bit. And that's just going to make it to where when I glue this down, it's a little more forgiving, so I won't have any poking out the sides. Okay, let's see where we're at. We've got our base, which has been strengthened with cardstock. It's still wet, so it needs to dry a minute. And we're going to put this on and glue around the 3 sides so that we can stick a tag that we're going to make down in here so that we can see whatever is on our tag. Okay. And when our tag is out of the pocket, we have this beautiful paper to look at. Sorry if there's glare. But this is what we're working on. I'm going to thumb hole punch right here just to make it easier to get this tag in and out. Now, when you glue this to a page, once we glue around 3 sides of the frame, right, of the top piece, when you glue this in your book, you can also glue around only 3 sides here. So you can have a tag in the pocket and then another tag behind if you wanted to. In these journals, they're going to be so very full of ephemera that we're probably not going to have enough space to do a double pocket. I just don't feel the need. So we're going to thumb hole punch this and glue it down. Pinking shears, yes, on fabric. You can use them on paper, but once you use your pinking shears on your paper, they're not going to cut your fabric as well. They will dull on paper. People don't realize, but when you, I'm going to cut this while we're talking. When you use scissors of any type, including pinking shears, on paper, it dulls the shears. And because pinking shears have to cut such a precise little zigzag or the scallop, depending on which pinking shears you have, they will dull them and then they will not cut your fabric very well. So keep that in mind. Pinking shears, if you're looking for a cheap pair, if you go to Joann's or Hobby Lobby or anywhere else and you're looking at pinking shears, they are astronomically expensive. Amazon has pinking shears in the zigzag, like the sawtooth pattern, and a pretty scallop pattern that is rounded. And they're like $10 to $15 a pair. The last time I bought a pair of pinking scissors, it was like 20 years ago, 15, I don't know. But it was at Joann's, and I had to pay like $45 for a pair of pinking scissors. And they were just Fiskars brand. They weren't like some fancy brand. So if you're looking for pinking shears, Amazon's a good place. I'm going to glue this down. We're at the point where we can do that. So I'm going to use art glitter to glue it. And I'm going to glue it on 3 sides. And I'm going to glue away from my window, obviously, because I want this to be a pocket. And so if you're looking for the pinking shears, Amazon's a good place, but you might invest in a pair that is strictly for paper and a pair that is for fabric, just so that they don't get dull. Now is the point where we got to match these up and we got to do it really perfectly because we used art glitter and we don't want anything seeping out. There is a better way to make this. I kind of made it the hard way, but we did it. We got there in the end. Pretty cheap on Amazon. Awesome. You're talking about the recoil ones like this from Tim Holtz. These work really, really well. I just haven't gotten in the habit of grabbing for them yet, but they do. Or the little ones like this that are recoil. I have both. They work really well, but at this point, unless I was sitting down to do hours and hours of fussy cutting, the little cutter bees are my go-to. If you were going to sit and fussy cut like for an hour, you're going to want the recoil ones. Any brand of recoil is better than no recoil. So our little pocket is done. Let's make a little tag. I don't know if we want this little or if we want a bigger one. I don't know what will fit. Let's see. Will this guy fit in here? He will not unless I cut him down. He should have fit, but My glue is a little bit too far over. So let's cut him down because I want to put this flower and it's pretty large. Let's cut down this tag. So a lot of people got the kit and they got a variety of tags in their kit. If your tag is slightly too large, take it to your trimmer and adjust it. People think of these tags and think that they have to remain the size that they are, and they don't. You can adjust them. The one thing I will say is you want to adjust it so that your top is still even. So I'll show you here in just a second. This one needed a little sliver off of it. Okay, so now we have a skinnier tag, and I just cut off the sides of the tag. You want to try to make sure that your points stay the same. If they're ever so slightly off, nobody cares. You're going to decorate this tag, and the last thing anyone's going to look at is the top of it. Honestly, they don't. So hopefully now it fits in there. It does. It fits nicely in there. A little snug. I may eventually cut some. I think it's fine. It's just that the glue is still wet. So it fits in there. It slides in and out. It's nice. So let's do it. Let's decorate it. I want this flower on here and I want some book page. Do I want to fussy cut the flower? Do I want to tear the flower? What do I want to do with the flower? I think I'm going to save the other half too of this page, and we can use it on another tag. Because remember, everything I make here with you, I have to make 3 of. Not exactly the same, but the element at least, you know. So the window envelope, 3 of those. Thanks. Can you turn the air down, please, too? Thank you. Okay, it's hot here. So let's put some book page over the front, and then maybe we'll tear the flower out and put a little label or something. But let's put some book page there. I think we're going to use the same book page. Again, I like it with the red, which is why I used it there, but let's put the same book page. It's here. Let's do it. Let's do this one over here. It has a little less red. I'll just kind of cut the white off and then I'll tear it or attempt to tear it. Talking about fussy cutting. Some people enjoy fussy cutting and a lot of people don't enjoy fussy cutting. Some people, when they buy a digital kit, they right away, right off the bat, they will sit down and they will cut out the entire kit. I sometimes do that if I really feel like I'm going to use every little element in it. Most of the time, I cut as I need because I don't end up using every element. I think I am going to cover the entire tag front with the book page. So let's just go ahead and glue our tag up and let's paste it down. I don't have a lot of time. When I had more time, I might sit there and cut everything out. And then if I didn't use an element, I would just put it in a bin and save it. Or if it was an element where it was really specific to that individual journal that I made, I would just send a baggie of all the leftover elements that I didn't use to the person that bought the journal. So sometimes I do that. If I feel like, you know, I'm probably not going to use this element in a different journal. So say I was making an owl journal and all of the ephemera was geared towards owls, then I might not keep it. Obviously, I could use owls. I used an owl today in this one. But anyway, so sometimes I'll just send it with the new to the new owner. If I was going to use it, I might just file it with the rest of my ephemera. glue everywhere. But I don't enjoy fussy cutting as much as some people do. I don't mind it necessarily when I want to cut out something I'm going to use. But if I had more time, maybe I would sit and do it while I was watching TV. Probably not. I don't know. It doesn't drive me crazy necessarily, but it's just there's so many other things I could be doing with my time, I guess is a better way for me to put it. So there's that. My scissors are super, super gluey and sticky and have paper bits. They need a good clean. To clean your scissors from all of your glue, you can use hand sanitizer. That works the best for me. So there's that. It's relatively straight. And I think fussy cutting or tearing. I'm going to try to tear it. Let's try to tear around it. And if I don't like the torn look, then I can go back and fussy cut. And I may not like the torn look, but we'll see. My fingers are very sticky. And so everything is sticking to them, making tearing out this paper hard. And I just tore a little leaf tip off. Well, that's not terrible. It needs another element. This might be a good one for some of those doilies that I had pulled out. Let me grab those. They're right here. I pulled out a lot of, everything else is on top of them. Sorry, reaching in. Goodness. Okay. I had pulled a bunch of the paper doilies. Let's look at those. A whole lot for a little thing. These ones are very, very white, and this book page is also this bluish white color. So I think I would like something a little more creamy in color. Sorry, my dog is kind of barking. I think we're going to use the doily, and we're going to leave the one edge of the flower torn, and we're going to cut off the other edge straight here. So let's position our doily to where it is where we want it on the paper. And then I'm just going to make a little mark with my finger to kind of show me where to glue it to. So I'm just taking my fingernail on the edge of my tag and making a mark. I can go ahead and cut it and then glue it. But that shows me where to cut to line it up with where I want it on the doily or on the tag. Now to glue a doily, I'm going to glue the whole radius of the doily and everything on the tag part, not on the doily part. It often tears when you try to do it any other way. So I'm just going to take the full radius and put glue everywhere. You could use art glitter glue and go around the tip of your doily and make sure that you get like every little point. Ooh, that was a big smear of glue. But when you get glue, art glitter, or not art glitter, Oohoo glue stick on your tag, if you get it somewhere where you don't want it, it doesn't matter. It dries clear. You're never going to see it. And then I just place my doily back on there and kind of line it up. And anywhere that you didn't get glue, then you would go in with art glitter and hit those little tiny points that are sticking up. I think we did pretty good. We might have a little section there that we need to go back and glue. And then I take a baby wipe and just kind of go over the lacy part of the doily, kind of clearing away some of that glue that's there. Not much,
That's just so you're not seeing it, you know. Okay, there's that. Now we're going to glue this on, and I'm just going to leave this torn edge right as it is. Make sure I got it where I need it to go. Just remember to keep it centered on your tag if you want it to show through that window. So when we put our tag in, I'm going to need to move it down. I didn't put my doily down, so it's just going to be where it's going to be. And it may not, in fact, actually show through the whole thing. I'll try to move it down. And then let's glue that. And so same thing, I'm just going to use my finger, go along the edge of the tag with my fingernail to put a crease in. That shows me where I need to snip it. We have a little piece for something else later. This is what we ended up with here. I want to keep it up here for the tag, but if I want it in that window, I'm going to have to move it down. And we are going to have a hole reinforcer. I will put that back in here in just a second. So let's move it down and glue it and get it on there. Let's glue it on this. So I don't know what time it is. It's 9:30. I'm just going to keep working as long as I can keep working. Obviously, you guys don't have to stay. You never have to stay the whole entire time. But I'm just going to keep working because I need to keep working. I'm having fun, and I'm just going to keep going. So, you know, if people need to go about their day, I realize it's Saturday and you probably have lots and lots of things to do. Then, you know, I will see you guys on Tuesday for the live sale. The live sale starts at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Tuesday. Again, I don't know if it will be the new Italian papers yet or not, but we have another half an hour, 20 minutes to go for our 3-hour craft with me that we normally do. However, I'm just going to keep working. And anybody that falls out because it's Saturday and they need to go do chores or shopping or whatever, thank you for joining, and I will see you guys on Tuesday. For the rest of you that are staying, let's just keep going. So we've cut that off. I can see there is a little bit of doily hanging over the edge here. I'm going to trim that. I don't want anything to hang up, to get hung up in my pocket. So I'm just making sure everything's trimmed off there. Okay, let's put the hole reinforcer in before we go any further. And let me throw all of this away. We'll keep that. And we'll throw all of that away. Let me bring my trash can back up here and sweep all of these little pieces into it. Okay. The reason why I want to get the hole reinforcer in now is because I want to see how it looks before I add any other element to this tag. So when you cover up your hole reinforcer, just go from the back side, repunch your hole, and then that tells you where to put your hole reinforcer in the front. You guys have seen me do this a million times, and I'm sure you guys know how to put hole reinforcers on, but in case there's somebody that doesn't, the hole reinforcers are just these little Avery. You can get them on Amazon for like $3.50 delivered. Otherwise, Walmart, lots of places have these Avery reinforcement labels. And then you take your ink dauber and color them. I said this last night and I'll say it again. Don't use distress ink. Don't use any type of water reactive ink when you color your little holes. Use archival or something like that so that your ink doesn't react when you stick it down. Because I always get glue through the hole when you put it over your glue stick. And then I try to wipe it, and normally it wipes away your ink, right? Because it's water reactive ink, because I use distress. So don't use distress. Okay, there's that. We have our hole reinforcer back. Let's just kind of see. Everything is still wet, but let's just kind of see if we can without making anything pull off. How we did. Well, we didn't quite get our flower down far enough. We didn't. So I may, in fact, use this tag somewhere else because this isn't really it for me, right? So maybe we'll use this tag somewhere else. I knew that I needed to pull my flower down, but it was such a big tag that I didn't want to put my flower way down here. So I'm not going to be able to see my flower where I thought, unless I edit my tag. The easiest way to fix this problem is just chop off the bottom of this tag. So let's just do it so I can see my flower. Otherwise, you'll just need to position it a little better than I did. I'm going to guess that we need this much. It moved. Guess that we need this much chopped off. Let's see. Let's see how we did there. There we go. Perfect. So just chop off that little piece and it's already collaged. You might make some kind of little tiny tag or little tiny dangle that hangs off of another tag. So when I have offcuts that are on cardstock, normally I will just cut them and put a hole or an eyelet through them and make like a little dangle to hang off of a tag through one of those garment pins right here. So I save these is my point, and maybe later we'll do something with them. So our tag fits, our flower shows through our little window perfectly. It's really, really cute. Really, really cute. Now you can go in with some washi and add a little something down here. A little scripty washi might be nice right there, just to kind of further embellish. Let's do it. Then you might add a little second layer to your cluster down here, or you can leave it. I'm just adding a little something right there. Okay. You can add another layer. Sorry. You can add another, gotta be careful which finger I point to things with. You can add a little something else right there if you want. And then for this one here, we could add a label or something up in this area, I believe. So let's look and see what we have for little labels for right there. Or I could just use this. Do you see how easy it is to just like use this on everything? I'm going to avoid that for a second, just because I'll have everything with that up there. You could add like a little partial label. That actually might be kind of nice. Let's look at that. So when you put labels on things, you know, you can put it center. You can put it all the way to one side. You can put it where only part of the label is on the tag. Just do whatever, you know, you think looks best. For me, I might cut some of this label off. And I'm just using this one because it was at the top. And it's easiest. And it looks good. So I think that will be great right there. You could put it down here, but we have this big open space up here at the top because I had to keep my flower down low. So let's glue that on. Cut off the bottom. Yeah, that's what I did. Let's do it. Let's glue this guy here and see how I like him. I'm going to keep him right there. And I am keeping the whole label on, I think. I kind of want to cut some of it off right there. I don't know why, I just do. So I'm going to slide it over and trim off that little tiny bit. I knew right from the beginning I probably would do it, and I just like it better that way. I don't know why, I just do. Now you could stamp, or you could leave that for the new owner of your journal to stamp on, or to write on, or whatever. But when he slides in, that little label just caught right there because it's wet. But you can't see the label at all. You pull it out, you see the label. It's great. So again, this just needs to dry. Every time I try to slide it, it's catching right here. So it just needs to dry. You can go in and kind of widen out your pocket a little bit. This one was thin enough where I can actually kind of widen it there, which will help that slide in. Perfect. So there's that. Now we just need to spend another hour making 2 more, another 2 hours making 2 more. You can see how every little piece of the junk journal, it just takes time. And there's not really any way to speed that up. It just is what it is. So if we wanted to glue this to a page, we would need to find a pretty spot or a plain spot, one or the other, to add this in. And so while I do want to leave some of this open space for writing, this might be a good place. I think it is a good place to add this here. So this is what it will look like, basically. I think that's a good place to add it. The only consideration you need to make about where you place this is that it's pretty big and heavy, right? Because it's got a tag in it and the whole thing. You just want to make sure that your paper you're gluing it to is going to be strong enough. This straw paper is and it isn't. I think we're going to do it just because I like the way it looks there. But it is a little thinner. And if I really thought it was too thin, once I glue this down, what I would do is I would add something to the back side to kind of strengthen it. So let's glue this in. We'll have one piece of ephemera we glued in today, and we'll see how it goes. Now, when you glue this, like I was talking about earlier, if you glue this down on 2 sides, you have a tuck here for something in the back. That's an option, but again, it adds extra weight to the paper that we already kind of feel might be too thin. And also it adds extra bulk in your journal. So you have to decide, do I need more tucks for big things? Or am I okay with just making this a pocket and gluing all 3 sides? For me, sometimes I leave it open where the new owner can decide what they want to do. Or sometimes I just glue it down. Because I'm not far enough along in the journal, I don't know which way I want it, to be honest. I might just glue it on the 2 sides and leave it as a thing. I'm going to glue it down. Here's why I'm going to glue it down. Because we have a tag that goes in, if you leave it open right there, it might be a little harder to get the tag in. I don't know. I'm going to glue it. We're going to glue. And so I'm going to glue 2. I'm just going to start there. For strength-wise, you would be better off gluing the entire pocket down. I can't decide which way I want to do it. Let's glue. I'm just going to glue the whole thing. The new owner hopefully will be okay with my decision. I'm going to glue the whole thing down, not leaving any type of tuck or pocket behind, because I want this to be strengthening to the straw paper. The straw paper is a little thinner than I would normally like for a pocket with a window in it and a tag. So I glued my entire piece to the page, leaving no pocket or tuck. I hemmed and hawed. You saw it. I did it right live, hemming and hawing. And then that's down. And then this will slide in there. Just like that. So that's that one. Now, we made the other piece. We made this piece, and I just don't think I have a pocket. This would have been a nice place to slide that, though, too. But again, it's just going to add a bunch of bulk, putting another thing back there. So we're good with this. Honestly, we are. We're good with it. Let's take this out while that dries, just in case. And let's move on. We need to look and see where we need things at this point. I know I need a bunch more corner pockets. Let's look at some corner pockets. Yeah, let's look at some corner pockets. We made this one, and I need a big tag for both of those. We need a tag to go in here to show through that window. And that was another thing to consider too. Like I kind of forgot we had a window here, but it's okay. They're far enough apart. There's a big section of pages. You just wouldn't have wanted a window and a window. Do you know what I mean? Too many windows together. Okay. We need to add something to these bags, and I need to snip this one open. We have a pocket here that needs something. We have lots and lots of ephemera going into these. Let's start working with lace. You guys want to keep doing ephemera, or do you want to move to lace? You guys want to vote? Ephemera or lace? Lace, I'm just going to make lacy pockets, which I guess is ephemera. Let's work on it. These book pages are what I prepped to add lace to. Let's work on lace. Glue it all. I'm just one step off of you guys today. I don't look up at chat. Good morning, Maggie. I'm not sure what the little emojis are, but good morning. Yes, Ria, exactly. If you need to go, you can always watch the replay. Lace it is. I feel it too. I'm just ready for the lace. So some of the lace pockets I want to make are just 2 rag paper book pages glued together for strength. And then I'm going to add some antique lace to them to make a pocket. These could be cut into tags as a tag with a lacy pocket, or they can be glued down like on 3 sides for a lacy pocket this way. You just have to decide how you want to do yours. But the bases for what I'm going to do now are all 2 rag paper pages glued together. I've already pre-prepped them, so these are already glued together. That's why they're so stiff. So if you want to prep yours, just glue pages together, let them dry, and then let's add some lace to them. Let me move this bin because the lace bin is underneath of it. Let me move that. I don't know where, but let me move it. I literally have like a maybe 2 foot by 2 foot little hole that I can stand in right now because there is so much stuff everywhere in this room. Alrighty, so we're gonna need the lace. Let me move our pile of ephemera. Let me move the journals, this piece of cardstock. Let me prep some space here. I don't need to sew in any signatures, so we can get rid of my book cradle and we can get rid of this stuff for the moment. I want to be able to pull the lace bin over so that you guys can kind of see what's in there when I'm digging through it. Let me move all these scraps. I have a pile of paper scraps over here. The journals can sit over here. We're going to need the journals when I glue lace to the edges of the pages and things. We might put it down the spines today, just depends. We will need our book weight, and these also need moved. I've kind of like precariously set stuff over there, so if something falls, it falls. This is the scrap lace bin. It has a whole bunch of different kinds of things in it. It has cheesecloth in it. It has like the Swiss dotted tulle in it. It had just random rickrack thrown in there, random little snippets of things. There's a couple little doilies, a whole bunch of different kind of things in here. And as we dig down in here, you'll see there's different fabrics. You can't see, there's different fabrics in here. There's little fabric swatches from like a fabric sample book in here. There's some other stamped fabric, which we could use. I forgot that these were in here. Definitely want to use some of these. So stamped fabric that I did a long time ago, which this is exactly how I'm going to do these ones that I made. See how this has the scripty little background in the back? So pretty. So I am going to put the little scripty background in the back of this one because it's just too plain and too white. So we'll do that, or I'll do that. But anyway, those ones are in there so I can pull some of those out for the other journals. But what I'm looking for is lace that's wide enough for a pocket. So while I'm not finding it in that section, here's a ball of old lace. I'm looking for wide lace. And if I can't find it in this bin, like here's some wide eyelet, that will work. There's a different wide eyelet, that will work. If I can't find what I'm looking for in this bin, I will go and snip off lace that I have over on my shelf over there. There's a bunch of appliques here, like different kinds with beads and sequins and regular plain appliques. There's all of that. This is Osnaburg fabric, I believe. Here's some different old lace we can use. So right now I'm looking for wide lace in my scrap bin. There's just all kinds of things in here. There's trims, different kinds of trims. There's a different wider eyelet. I might use that. Okay, that's a good start. That's a good start. Let's push this out of the way and let's work on some of these. So this guy, if you need lace, if you want lace, we will have a lace sale coming up. I don't know when. And I will sell all of the laces, everything that you guys are seeing, I'll sell by the yard in a lace sale. I have done that in the past. It's just cutting hundreds and hundreds of yards of lace takes a ridiculous amount of time. And so when we do lace, we do an entire night of just lace. And then I cut it all to your guys' specifications. So this is the back side. So if we put this long lace, this tall lace, it's an eyelet lace, as a pocket on this, maybe we could rough cut it a little bit so it's torn or try to tear it. And maybe leave some hanging over the edge like that so we can get this little scallopy bit. Let's kind of see how this looks. I don't know if this one tears. So for now, I'm just going to rough cut it. It's kind of a gauzy eyelet where you can clearly see through it, right? Whereas the other eyelets that I have, they are on cotton and you can't see through them. Oh no, Christy. Okay, so let's fold that one back up, put that over there. Let's play with this big book page. It's about like a 7.5 by 5-inch book page. I'm just going off the top of my head. Let's see. We can glue this down, but because this is sheer, you're going to see the glue. So I'm going to make this pocket without adhering my lace to my paper because I know I want to sew on this one because it's too sheer. The glue will show through. But let's make it, and then I will take it to the sewing machine and sew it. I am going to leave the scallop hang off the bottom. I may go through and weave a ribbon. I probably will weave a ribbon through the bottom, but let's work on the top of it. I don't want to cover the entire book page. I want to tear it to where it comes through this way. So I'm going to attempt to do that with a sideways snip. I don't know if this tears. It kind of does in a very messy way. It kind of did. Okay. And even though I put my slit, sideways with the scissors, it kind of tore it straight. For me, I want it down closer, so I'm going to try to tear it again. And again, I'm going to snip it at an angle in hopes that it tears crooked. It kind of did. It's better. And what I like is that rough edge at the top, right? It kind of looks like we snipped this out of some antique garment or something like that. So we need to decide, how much of a scallop we want showing. We can have just a little bit, which I kind of think I like better than bringing it all the way down. So I'm going to leave a little bit showing. And so for this pocket, literally all I'm doing is going to sew around this, and it's going to be a lace pocket. You could come in and put like a little fabric cluster or embellishment after you sew on it. Right through here, I may do that with some fabrics. Let me grab my fabrics to play with out of that bin, and we'll see about that. Fabrics are right here. You all got a piece of the French General fabric in your kits. Garlic and shrimp pasta. Awesome, Christy. So if I was going to do a little fabric cluster, first of all, you guys all got a piece of French General fabric. It was more in the red and tan tones. This is more of a blue and pink tone, a different pack of fabrics. But you guys all got a piece to play with. You could just use, and maybe we will do this also, but you could just use your piece of fabric that you got as a fabric pocket, adding in some more little embellishment. Maybe we will also do that, you know, with one of these. I think it's a good idea to make a little fabric pocket. But for embellishing and doing a little cluster right here, this is kind of what that would look like. We have these little tiny packs. Let me open both of these up. These, I believe, are both retired, so I don't think we can, you know, go out in the world today and find the same exact fabrics. This one has tiny little ditzy prints all over it, and I like these tiny ones for that purpose. Maybe we would put something like this, and we would have to tear a little strip and build a cluster right there. We can work on that. Not sure whether or not it will stay there in the end, but I don't mind that. Maybe we would do it like this. And then, so that's what I use these little tiny ones for. These are like 2.5 by 2.5 inches. And you can find them all over the place. Any quilting store has them. eBay, Etsy has them. They're just mini charm packs of fabrics. And the reason why I like them is just for building little clusters and accents. You could use this as the topper of a tag. So it's a good way to have a bunch of different patterns. And most of these patterns that they use for these little mini packs are smaller, tighter prints. So that's good too. So anyway, that's that. Let's move these off to the side. And then we will need some like really old lace to put into this little cluster. And so I'm just going to snip off, kind of rough cutting. I just really rough cut an angle off of this. And then I want to kind of pull it and move it in my hands to make it look less perfect. I want this to look like an old piece that was, I mean, it is an old piece. It's an antique piece, right? But I want it to look a little rougher. So I'm just kind of roughing it all up in my hand. I'm not sure we got it exactly, but then you want to put that on there. And then a little rusty safety pin. And that will be a little cluster. The other thing I need is I need one of the French laundry numbers. You guys got the red French laundry numbers in your kits? Can I reach my red French laundry numbers? No, I can't. Hold on a second. Let me go grab mine. My red French laundry numbers. They're hiding from me. Okay, all of my red French laundry numbers are buried, but I did grab one out of a kit. So we're going to use this to build our little cluster with. This little cluster can be used anywhere in the journal. When I do finishing touches, you guys will see me build a ton of these little clusters. to embellish my pages, pockets, etc. Anywhere that I think needs a little something, I can put a little cluster. I'm digging for my thing of rusty bits. This little box came from Michael's, I believe. It has little containers inside of it. And I have a bunch of old mother of pearl buttons, rusty safety pins, rusty paper clips, and some miscellaneous rusty bells and specialty paper clips. For this one, I just want a rusty safety pin. I do sell the rusty bits also. So if you're looking for anything that's pre-rusted, there's a mega pack. It has a ton of all of the elements that I just showed you, all the rusty elements. And I sell that in my life sale too. I know a lot of people are newer, and so, you know, they haven't seen all of the things. So anyway, we don't need the huge strip of, not huge, but we don't need the whole strip of this. You could use one number. I think I'm just going to go for two little numbers here with the safety pin in the middle. So I'm going to make this cluster, and then I guess we can glue it. I'm not going to put it on. I'm not going to put it on the lace until after I sew the lace into the book page, because I don't know the exact positioning of this. So truthfully, all I want my safety pin to go through is this little number thing. And it's just because rusted metal, it's a little hard to get to go through the fabric sometimes because it's rusted, right? So just put it through the top element and pin it. And then you're going to glue your cluster together anyway. So it's going to be on the top piece just because it's easier to weave the pin through than it is to weave the pin through 3 layers plus this old lace. Like, it's kind of thick. So you're just going to put it through the top piece, and then you're going to glue your little ribbon to this. We can build this quick. And we're going to use Fabri-Tac for our fabricy bits. So this is just a little cluster. You don't need a ton of glue. My Fabri-Tac is all the way down at the bottom, of course. Hello, Weld and Carrie. Weld and Carrie. Hopefully I'm pronouncing that right. Thank you for joining. We're just doing a little craft with me. So just get a little bit of glue. I'll leave that on its side. We're going to put our little lacy bit kind of however we want it. I'm going to clip off this end right here, I think. And maybe clip in here and make this a little less perfect. I just like it a little rougher, so I edit. Okay, and then glue that to that at an angle, not perfectly straight. And then here's where you want to put your glue. You want to put it right on your safety pin. Give it a dollop. The strings. And then glue this to this. Now you could put anything in your little fabric cluster. Literally anything. Doesn't matter. Any little fabricy bits. You could add paper and fabric. You could do whatever you wanted. And then we have the cutest little Frenchy, antique-y, whatever lace cluster or fabric cluster. And after I sew my lace to my page, I'm going to glue this here. Before I glue this to this lightweight stuff, I'm going to stick plastic in my pocket so that it doesn't glue my pocket shut. Okay. I could do it now, but I'm not exactly sure of placement. And I don't want to sew this down, and I kind of want it to hang over the edge here. So I'm going to glue it on later. But again, put plastic in your pocket so your glue doesn't seep through and glue your pocket shut. Okay, so that's going to be that guy. He's really cute. He's simple, but he's really, really cute. This is really what he will look like when he's done. Simple but cute, effective. You could trim your corners, to like more of an angle shape. I probably would do that. I won't know till I find the page it's going on. But that's that one. Let's work on this one. And I'm going to leave this bottle on its side and it's leaking, so we'll put it over the mat. For this guy, let's go ahead and use this piece. There was a blue one too. Maybe we'll make a couple, but let's use this piece. And then we will come in with some kind of coordinating fabrics. I might get some of the upholstery fabrics out of there. And we will again put a little place for a label or something out of fabric. This one, because I'm going to sew that one, I'm probably just going to sew all of these down just so that I don't have to worry about the glue coming through. I'm already going to be at the sewing machine, so I'm going to do it. But we can decorate the front of this one probably. And then I'll glue it down to book page, and it will be a fabric pocket. You can, if you're going to sew, you could fold over or fold back like this and sew a little hem right there to kind of make it easier for people to tuck something in their pocket. So if you were going to make a little hem, you would decide how far over you wanted to bend your fabric and finger press it with your finger. So you fold it and then you run your finger over it. You quilters know exactly how to do this, but you run your finger over it. Usually once is enough. If you really want to kind of press it down, run your finger a couple of times, and that gives you a nice little fold right there. And then you run a straight stitch, or you could do a zigzag, but run a stitch across here, and that gives you a nice little hem for your pocket. The only thing that you want to do is you want to make sure that your fold is straight because it's literally the top of your pocket. So make sure that you fold it down, finger press it, and then I will sew this piece of fabric to my pocket. And then we are going to now put a little embellishment right here. I have this from the other piece that I tore, so we could put it right there. You could do another cluster over here if you wanted, if you just wanted to do the same thing. For me, let's just add something there. I don't want to use doilies because I don't want to add the bulk. So let me move my pile of papers again. And let's look in this bin and see what we do have that we can use quick as an embellishment. What about just a little snippet of lace? This is just a vintage lace. I do have this one. And we could kind of put a little embellishment there. Again, it would probably have a rusty safety pin. We might put a little applique rose there. This just fell out of the bin. So I would probably ink that a little bit. Let's do that. Let's ink this a little bit. So when things look too new, lace-wise, fabric-wise, just take your vintage photo. Don't have a lot of ink on here, obviously, or you're going to get it darker. This is a way to coffee dye your laces and trims without actually coffee dyeing them. I like to do from both sides. I feel like it kind of gives a better look and covers more of the shiny white. But you're just kind of making this look a little less brand new and a little more coffee dyed. So it will look like that on there. It's pretty good. I think maybe we should darken this, and I'm just going to really try to get a lot on there. This is just for color. You know, if you already have it coffee dyed, that's great. I probably do have some coffee dyed somewhere, but I don't know where. So let's see how we did now. Better. I like that better. Okay. So there's that little cluster. Now you could add a little paper in there if you wanted. You could add a little label just on the fabric piece. You know, if you just wanted to put a little label on there, that would be good. If you had some stamped little images, I would really like to do a stamped image in lieu of these lacy bits. I will save these off to the side. We will probably use them for something else. But to me, I want a stamped on fabric small image. So I'm going to move to stamping some images on fabric. We need to do it. But basically, that's the point of these little things. I will do some more with you, but let's stamp some images on fabric, and then let's make some more lacy covered book page pockets. Then I'm going to add trims like this down the edge of the page in my journal to lace those all up. So that's where we're headed. But for now, because I know I need one, let's just stamp some images on fabric. Let me grab this. It has a glue bubble, and let's put this away for the moment. I will try to keep it upside down, or at least on its side. So next time I want it, I don't have to wait an hour. But let's quickly stamp some images on fabric. I have the stuff in here. Let's just do it. Fabric. Okay. There's some fabric. The ink that we need to use is this one. The archival. We might use others. Let me pull it up here. We might use others. We've got that. And then for stamps, I have a variety of stamps. And for right now, I'm focusing on small images that we can either cut out or tear out to use as embellishments. So, I'm just looking for some small little flowers. Like I do like that one. I don't really want mushrooms in this journal, but we could do, here is a moth. I would prefer a butterfly than a moth. There is a bee in here though, and there's some little postal marks and things. We could do that. This is just like what I have in this bin right here. So there is some texty, scripty background, more mushrooms. This one I like these little birds and that little flower. So we can use that one. We can use that one. Not going to pull a million, but I guess we're going to forgo that. I'm pretty sure there is a butterfly in here somewhere. Let me pull this bin over. Pardon my mess right here. But this clear bin is like my most used. Well, it's not necessarily my most used, but I keep these in this room so that we can use them for what we make in here. So I have other bees. Maybe the bees would be good. This one just has some numbers that I like. And I think this one is the scripty background. Okay, somewhere there is butterflies. I don't know where, but somewhere. Let's work with these for right now. We got plenty. Okay. So for stamping on fabric, you want a fabric that is kind of lightweight. You could use more of a linen thick fabric too. It just depends on how much bulk you want to add to your journal. Stamping on fabric, the smoother the fabric, the better the stamped image is. This was a little bit thicker, coarser weave, and it doesn't stamp as nice as like the thinner calico kind of fabric. So let's just stamp on some of this white fabric. All of this is about the same thickness. Let's see about these two. Okay, here's a piece we'll start with. And so if you have a piece of foam to stick underneath what you're stamping on, you will probably get a better image. If you don't have foam, like I don't have foam handy, I have stamping platforms and whatnot, but they're in the other room. So let's just get started. I'm going to do some that are just the image itself. and some that have a background stamp on them. And I'm not going to do a million while you guys are sitting here waiting on me, but I am going to do some so that we can tear them out and use them quick in what we're making. So this is just a little bird. I re-inked this ink pad yesterday. So hopefully it is nice and juicy. You can put your ink pad to your stamp, or you can put your stamp to your ink pad. It doesn't really matter. There's a hem right here, so I will try to avoid that hem. And then with fabric, you do want to wait a minute. Fabric doesn't take the ink quite as fast as paper does, and then pull it off. It's super inky, so that's cool. And I'm just going to stamp a couple of these little guys. Maybe 3, so I can use 1 in each journal. And then we will move on and stamp a different image. Okay. So this is archival. Archival does stain your stamps. If you don't want your stamps to stain even after you clean them, then use a different ink. I'm using archival because it's on fabric. You don't have to. You're not going to wash it, so it doesn't really matter. You could use distress ink. That would be okay too. I'm going to do this little daisy. Normally, I think I take the ink pad to the stamp. For whatever reason, today we're doing it this way. Okay, let's do this little daisy here. And again, we'll do 3 of them. I am going to do it this way. I prefer it this way. These also, the little stamped images on fabric also look really great with just a rusty safety pin put through it. So if you're looking for, you know, quick ways to build interesting looking little clusters stamped on fabric, and then add like a little tiny piece of lace and a rusty safety pin, which we'll do, they look so good for something so simple. So there's 3 of those. And then let's do one more image, maybe the bee. I think the bee is what I want on that pocket. So let's do one of the bees. Before I move on, there is this fat little bird. Let me just do this fat little bird quick. Just because he's there. You can see I've already gotten ink over there. I don't really care. It's fine. The little bird is small enough. Hopefully I can just ink him this way. I don't know if I can get him. I'm going to do it. I'm going to squeeze him in right here. There is a hem on this fabric, but I'm going to squeeze it. Cool. He's just a fat little happy bird. And now we have 3 of him. So one day when you, like maybe today, you just want to make something, but you don't know what you want to make, just sit and stamp out the fabric. It is so relaxing, honestly. I got ink all over that. It doesn't matter. It's just going to be more distressed. But it's really relaxing to just sit and stamp out fabric. And then you're going to have all these little embellishments when you do want to sit and make, you know, ephemera or journal pages or whatever. This one was a Bow Bunny set. It's called Bird Song. All of these images came from Bow Bunny Bird Song. This is from Tuesday Morning, when Tuesday Morning used to exist. I miss them so very much. I loved shopping at Tuesday Morning. So in this set, I want this little rose cluster. This is also one of my favorites. It's really stuck in there. So let's do that one. I think I have room to get a couple of these here. Let's do it quick. All of these will be permanently stained black purple from the archival. I can see that we didn't quite get it here in the leaves. There we go. Okay. So I don't care that there's a little ink there. I'm just going to go right over it. All I do care about is that my fabric is not having bumps in it. So let's do this little rose here. Good. I like it. We'll get one more up here. A little more ink in the center. I'm going to try to get one there. I think we can. Okay. And then I'll need a different fabric. We didn't get quite enough in the center. I don't care. I'll put lace there. Like, you literally could just embellish right over it. Doesn't matter. Or leave it. Anyway, if you have foam, it does work slightly better. This is what we accomplished. And now we will cut and tear those out. Before we move on, let's do some on the, just need to cover this so I don't get fabric in it. Some on the regular calico, just so you can see this does stamp better. It's thinner and it's just a little tighter of a weave. All I really need is just a strip of this. Sorry if that was loud. Let's get that folded back up and we'll stamp on this. We don't have to stamp the whole thing, but we'll stamp some. So this is a much thinner fabric. I'm going to try to get a couple more of these. You'll notice this fabric is more of a creamy color. It's the regular natural, what do they call this? Calico? Muslin. Muslin is another name for it. Depends on what part of the world you're from. English people, UK people tend to call it calico. Even Australians tend to call it calico, whereas Americans, I think we call it muslin. This is a very inexpensive fabric that you can get at Joann's, even online. Usually when it's on sale, it's just like $3 a yard or something like that. I think Hobby Lobby also has it. I couldn't tell you where this one specifically is from. I need a baby wipe. I noticed some people are afraid to call their baby wipes baby wipes. Miss Tuesday morning. I know, I do too. I'm sorry, my chair is stuck on my shelf. It's because I don't have enough room in here. Some people, I think, are afraid to call these baby wipes and they call them wet wipes. Either way, to me, they're baby wipes. When I had children, there are a million baby wipes, right? So to me, they're baby wipes. Anyway, we're just gonna clean that as best as we can, cleaning our block along the way. And we're good to go. Let's switch out and get a different one. Again, I want the bee. So we'll just put that one away as best as we can. If you wanted backgrounds behind them, scripty backgrounds, Tim Holt scripty backgrounds. Here's the bee one. The bee one that I have is this one from Darkroom Door, and it is called Buzzing Bees. So if you want to get that one, I do make bee journals. I used to make them all the time, every year. So if you want buzzing bees, you can see you have a whole bunch of different bee related things for cards and for journals. These ones from Darkroom are rubber. So let's do both of these. This is kind of like a French bee and this is a regular bee. And I think we might be able to get them stamped at the same time. Let's do this one here. You can see I haven't even used all of these. I only use my favorites. I'm kind of like that, where like once I have a favorite of something, I tend to go for the same exact one over and over and over again. And I need to quit that. Either stop buying so many things or use a bigger variety of the things that you have. I'm kind of heavily doing these. We'll see what we get. And I kind of spaced them on my block where I can hopefully stamp both of them at the same time and then cut and tear out both of them. Good. Very good. So let's do a couple more of those. The bees I would probably use in any kind of journal. So let's do a couple more. I'll move them down here. I like red rubber for stamping on fabric better than I like the clear. I do think it gives a better image on fabric specifically. Otherwise, clear I think is fine. The polymer stamps, I don't usually, for the cheap stamp sets that you can get like on Amazon or Temu or all those other places, I don't think those stamp very well. I don't know that they're made from polymer. I'm going to just do a couple more because I know I'm going to use these all the time. But I don't know that the cheaper ones are made from polymer. But if it's a polymer stamp set, normally I get good results. But those cheaper ones, they yellow really easily, especially for me here because I have heat. You know, it's always warm here. The cheaper rubbery clear stamps, they're not rubber, but whatever they're made out of. Acrylic, I think, the cheaper stamps, they just yellow and they don't give me a clear image, especially on fabric. I think we need to go back up here. And I can actually fit these way tighter together, but I'm leaving myself some room because sometimes you want a little open space. So I'm going to quit. I could stamp these forever, but I'm going to quit. And really, I'm just cleaning the ink off these so I don't ink up my fingers when I take them off because the ink doesn't really come off either. Okay, so there's those. You can see I'm all inky. That's just how I do when I stamp. So putting these back away, I'm not going to use any of the other ones in here. If I was doing more of a bee-themed project, I probably would, but there's that one. I have some other Tim Pulte ones. I'm going to stamp for a few more minutes, and then we will move on. I'll put that away in a minute. I want these numbers. You guys will see these numbers are pretty awesome. Again, this was a Tuesday morning thing. This was Fun Stamper's Journey. They don't exist anymore. But look at these cool antique typography kind of numbers. They have the pennants and the banners that you could also stamp the numbers in. But for us, let's just use the numbers. And I'm just going to pick out some of the numbers that I like. And we're going to stamp them kind of together like we did the bee so that we can stamp multiple at the same time. This one is a number 5. We'll put him up there. Then a number 2. Then a 3. And then a 7. So I've put 4 on a block so we can stamp 4 numbers at the same time. The only thing is I kind of want to stamp them straight. It just helps later when you're trying to tear out your fabric if your stuff is straighter. I think that's pretty good. So let's do those. I've never stamped these on fabric. I've only used these in cards before. I'm pretty sure even these ones that are retired, you could probably find like on eBay or something. So let's get some of these stamped. Very cool. You guys see them? They're very, very cool. Sorry, I'm kind of sliding down as I work. Let's get some more. And then I think I will quit stamping. It's so fun. I don't want to, but I think I will so I don't bore you guys to death. And then we will use some of these elements we stamped on the little fabric lacy pockets. Very cool. Okay, I can quit. I have willpower. I can quit. I really could just do it forever. You could use different colors of ink too. I only stamped in black, but you could do whatever you wanted to do. So I'll give those a quick wipe, even though nothing really comes off, especially because it's rubber and it really just, that ink soaks in and it loves it. So that's those. There's my block. Put it back in there. Put these back on here. I'm just putting them anywhere. They're not in order anymore, but I can do that too. Okay. Those go in there. That goes in there. Let's clean up that mess so I have some desk space. Okay. Then to tear these out. I'm not going to tear them all out with you. I'll just tear out what we're going to use, or a couple or something like that. Let's take one of these little birds. And honestly, a second stamping of these might have been a little better. Stamp off some of the ink so it's not quite so fresh and so dark. You can see I made a little snip, and then I just tear to the point that I needed it out. I don't, because they're stamped randomly. With some of these, you might be able to tear straight up, but because they're stamped randomly, you can't necessarily tear every single one perfectly. And then from there, I'm just going to edit it down and tear it to the right size. Like, that's pretty good. It's a little on the big side. We might leave that one and we'll see how we like it later. Let's tear out one of these daisies. And I'm going to trim it pretty close, or at least I'm going to try. See, on that one, I tore straight up and I tore right out into his branch. That's okay. But when I tear up here, I don't want to lose his tail. So let me snip right here. So this is what I'm trying to do, is to not tear all the way up and lose his tail. Boy, I am crowded on my desk right now. So we have that. From there, I'm just going to, oh, the hem is at the bottom, so we're not going to do anything else with that one. So there's that. Let's do a bee. I think the bee is where I want anyway. So let's do a bee and a number out of here. Let me flip this around. We'll snip off this row of bees. Actually, I'm going to keep going. And we'll get that bee too. And then snip down there. Any little bit that's left over that we didn't stamp on yet, I will just save the piece of fabric and stamp on it later. Then we can go across here and snip. There we go. Not all fabric tears. Some people asking me, I've got a lot of questions actually, like, how are you tearing my fabric? My fabric doesn't tear. Not all fabric tears. It depends on the way the fabric was constructed, the weave of the fabric. So not all of it tears, but a lot of it does, especially quilting cottons and things like that. There's a little bee. I like all of the extra strings. To me, the extra strings just enhance the look. So I like it. I'm going to leave the strings as much as I can. This one we can just tear over there. And then we need a little bit. So see here, I have an extra space for another stamp. I'll just save it. I can come in and stamp another bee on that later. Or it can just go in a cluster or something like that. So there we have one of each of the bees. And then a number. Let's do a quick number. The 5 and the 2 are the easiest to get to. So let's just kind of snip those out. Hopefully you guys can kind of see what I'm doing. I'm just snipping and tearing the fabric. There's a 2, and the 2 might get edited. We'll see. And here's a 5. And now we have some to play with. What cute little ephemera pieces to play with, though. And if you just stamp a whole bunch of them, put them in like a little bin or a little box, you will have them to embellish with, and you won't have to take the time like we did right now to stop and stamp them. Did I say something funny? Sorry, Rhea. I don't know what I said. I'm always saying goofy things. Sometimes I watch my lives back and I'm like, you're a moron. A lot of times that happens. I don't know. So there's those. So what I was thinking is a little bee right here. We could have this guy. It could be like that. We could have this guy, which I think I like better here, like that. Leave those little strings. I kind of like them. And then I might just put like a little rusty safety pin, or you could put like a little word stamped in there. You could put a little number or some other kind of little embellishment there. But that's what my fingers look like. I only stamped like 12 things. That's what my fingers look like. So let's put some lace in this with this little bee. I think we want the bee on top of the lace. No, we want the lace on top of the bee. So let's do that with this one. I don't know which side is the right side and which side is the wrong side. I inked this side, so let's just glue this side on. We're just going to glue that to our little pocket, and then I'm going to sew the little pocket on. Am I gonna? I am. I just want to leave room to sew where I don't have to sew on my embellishment. So let's get our Fabri-Tac. So I know it's kind of hard to see, but this is kind of what we're doing. So we took a piece of fabric, any old fabric, and we added a little stamped image, a little bit of lace I colored with ink, and another little scrap of fabric. Then at the bottom, we probably will put lace at the bottom of this pocket too. Maybe I'll just glue this one down so we can have a finished one. I do really want to sew around it though. So I always build my cluster and then attach it. You could start just attaching it straight to your thing, but you don't need a ton of stickiness here. I am going to put a bead of glue right at the top. You're going to see a little bead of glue right at the top of this, and then kind of hit some of the bigger elements to stick it. It's really easy to use too much glue when you do these. I often do that on accident. And then just kind of stick it in there. And then we're going to have a rusty safety pin. I am going to sew the top of this pocket down. So I guess we're not going to glue this to the book page, but I am going to glue this on just so we all can see it. Plus it can dry before I sew. So I'm just going to kind of get some glue. This is also a good way to clean off the top of your glue bottle. I need a little more, I think. See, here's where I'm like over gluing it. I don't glue the fabric so that it's completely flat, everything adhered. I want some of the fabricy bits to be able to flop up. The fun of having fabric is so that, you know, it moves. I don't want it like just every little bit of it pasted down, if that makes any sense to anyone. Now, where are my little safety pins? We can go ahead and stick that in. You can see in a journal, you easily can use, you know, 10 or 12 rusty paper clips and safety pins. You can go through them pretty quickly. This would also be another good place for a button. So in lieu of a safety pin, if you don't have them, don't want to wait for me to sell them on Tuesday, whatever, you could do like little mother of pearl buttons. You could put maybe 3 of them across there or something. I don't have the tiniest ones right here in front of me, but something like this right there. Cute, not cute, I don't know. I'll try to hold it up closer for you guys. But it's either that or a safety pin, or you could throw the safety pin in there too. The buttons are moving. If you put the safety pin in with the little things, it might be too much. I don't know. But you have options. So if you wanted to, you could sit down and make a whole bunch of little fabric clusters, fabric lace, stamped image. You could sew on your buttons, whatever, and just make the clusters ahead of time so that, again, you have a little baggie or bin of little clusters so that you, when you're making a journal, you don't have to sit and make every single little element. I have some somewhere, but I don't know where they are. For me, I think the buttons are a nice accent. You could also put a button on your safety pin. Let's see, we would need, this is hard with a rusty safety pin. It's really better with a bulb clip. And I don't have any bulb. Do I have bulb pins in here? I have rusty bulb pins. I don't know where they are. Somewhere. That's all paper clips, and this looks like all safety pins. Well, somewhere there are rusty bulb pins, and that could dangle a button. But because we're making this a pocket, you don't want to add too much bulky things with buttons and stuff. So I'm just going to put the pin in. Now, I would have put the pin in before I glued this down, but I was talking and forgot. So now we just have the pin. And you straighten it out and pull it to where you need it to be. See how hard it is to go through fabric? You can have the pin up or pin down or whatever. But that's kind of where we ended with that one. Again, this is going to fold down and it's going to get sewn to book page. So there's two little, let me wipe my hands with the clean baby wipe. Where did I put them? There's two little pockets with little lacy fabric-y clusters. So there's that. And again, I'm going to sew mine with the sewing machine. I'm trying to clean my fingers. They don't get clean. Let me get this big gob of glue. And I think we're going to put the lid on it and stand it up. I think we're good with that. Let's move on to some other lacy projects. Goodness. So this one will go onto here, and let's find some lace for the bottom of it. I won't put the lace on till after I sew the pocket on the page, but just so we could even use the exact same lace across the bottom if you wanted, or use a different. In this bin, move these, and move that. In this bin, there is some of my favorite lace. It's usually near the top. Well, this is a favorite lace. It's not wide enough. This guy here, not wide enough. My favorite usually is on the top because I'm using it all the time, and I leave the offcuts in here. Again, this is the one that I'm looking for, but it's not wide enough. The piece is not wide enough. Well, maybe there isn't any in here. Maybe I'm going to have to go cut some. Here, we can use this one. Okay. So, again, sewing our pocket on, putting lace at the bottom. Now, I don't want this lace this white, while I do like contrast. I'm going to color it. And then after I sew my pocket to my page, I will come in and glue this. I could just sew over it. I don't know. I just don't want to fight with it with the sewing machine, probably. So as long as this kind of lines up, it's fine. It's fine right there. Let's just color it quick. And that way it's ready to go on. Who's still with me? Anyone out there in Craft With Me land still with me? I know it's been a long craft with me. I'll do a couple more little things quick and then we'll probably call it a day. I am going to keep crafting, but for speed's sake, it's a little bit easier. This is getting really dark, which may or may not be a good thing. you could copy dye it, but then you got to wait for it to dry. And also when you copy dye lace, a lot of times like it gets all crinkled up and you will have to iron it to get it to be smooth looking again. And again, I like to do it from both sides. It kind of covers up the rest of the white that you can't see, or that you can see. It shows through the other side. You can see that it is eating up my little sponge dauber thing. Honestly, that needed changed long before today. I'm just using it until it literally falls apart. It's weird because some things like that, I'm just so thrifty that I don't change it until I really, really have to. I don't know. So it's going to kind of, I don't know which side is the right side now. I think this side is. It's going to kind of go across there. So you could have, if you had a fabric that you liked really well, you could have put your cluster down here. Normally, I probably would have put a cluster down at the bottom with the lace. I may try to tuck my lace and glue it to the page here and then sew my fabric over maybe. Maybe, I don't know. We'll play with it. But that's how that one's going to look. And then right up here in the top corner of my page, I'm going to take one of those German scrap pieces. So again, you can buy the German scrap in my live sales, but just there's a cute little one that fell right there. That's perfect. I will look for a second one. That is pretty perfect. So yeah, just take some type of little embellishment. I have a digital coming of the scans of all the little antique ones too. So I don't want something big. I want something very, very minimal. Let me see if there's something smaller, because I usually have a lot of small ones and I don't have that many places where I can use a small one. Like I'm talking something like that, where it's much, much smaller. I'm not sure on that red color, so let me see what else I got. But I don't have that many places for tiny little ones. Like there's even tiny ones like that. That one's a little too small, but this one's really cute, but it's big. So let me look for tinies, just because this is an opportunity for me to use a tiny one, where normally I don't have places that can hold tinies. But German scrap's available, and all of this stuff, like if I don't show it, you just got to ask me for it. You can contact me on Messenger. You can ask me in the live sale is probably the best way to do it. If I have time, I'll do it right then and there in the live sale. If I don't, I'll just bring it at a later time, but that's a good way. Let me see. I think we're good with one of those. All the little ones fall. Sorry, you guys cannot see what I'm doing at all. I'm digging in the bin of them. I have a whole bunch that I've cut out. So I'm digging in the little bin for just little tiny ones. They fall to the bottom. And so they're all down here. I think we have plenty to choose from. And then there's big ones like this too. And so see how they're German scrap and they're embossed. I don't know if the embossing will show, but they're embossed. And so they make great little embellishments. Let's pick one and glue it to the top of this page and possibly the other page too. So I know right off the bat, like he's gorgeous, but he's just a little much on there. Like he's just a little much. And this one is too small. This one again, I think is too much. I'm really leaning towards this guy. Perfect. Let's do that one. It's good color-wise. I can't pick these up. It's good color-wise, so let's do it. We will save these little guys up here in the corner because I probably will need them. So let's glue that on. This guy, you could cut this little piece that's here, but I did, where is it? I did get the little Tombow marker. And so if you ever have like a fussy cut or in this case, a little die cut or whatever, where there's a little tiny section of white showing, you can just color it in. and it kind of makes it disappear, especially on old paper. The Tombow color that we're using for this is 942. And so anytime you fussy cut anything, the little ladies, anything, if you have a little white section that you don't want to snip into with your scissors, or you missed it, or an edge that's showing, the 942 color is basically the color of vintage book page. So it blends it in when you glue it down. That's that. Let's glue this down. And then maybe we'll call it, I don't know. We'll see. My glue's getting dry because I didn't use it and it was sitting open. Note to self, if you're not going to use it for a good half an hour, don't leave it open. Okay, there's that. I think it goes this way. I'm trying not to cover up my book page number up there, and that just went right on the corner. So he's going to be a really cute pocket. And again, there was a million little elements that went into making this pocket. You're going to have to sew around it. You had to build the cluster. You know, have to fussy cut the things. So a little pocket takes a long time. So Jennifer's still here. Rhea is still here. Faith Ann is still here. Helen is still here. Thank you guys. Thank you for hanging out with me. So there's that. And then this will be a full page. Reach in front of the camera. Sorry. This will be a full page pocket. You could make this a smaller pocket, but you know, like this is kind of plain. You could glue it. I'm not going to cover up writing space, but you could glue it. You could also thumb hole punch this at the top and make it another pocket in the back, or possibly tuck something in over here on the side. But it's just a way to bring a fabric element, lacy element, into a journal. So for this journal, there's something here. It is here. The problem is I don't want to cover up any of these pages. I can't print pretty things on the backs of pages anymore. It's too hard. Like I could cover up that. I could put it there. But I think it's pretty. If you didn't want such a tall book page at the top, then snip yours off and make it shorter. I kind of liked it. It's going to have a tall tag in it, but it will be cute. And so to complete it, maybe we'll put this tag. It has nice color. Now keep in mind it's not sewn in, but this is kind of what this would look like. So she has a dress with the little pink and red flowers. Cute, right, guys? Mass making pockets, absolutely the way to go, which is kind of why I want to turn the camera off so that I can just, because I need to make 3 or 4 or whatever of each thing. And I don't feel like you guys want to sit while I literally make 3 exactly the same or pretty similar pockets. So if I turn the camera off, then I can sit here and mass make it, right, without boring everyone more than I'm already boring everyone. But I think it's pretty. I think it's pretty. Like the lace is falling off because, you know, it's not actually made, but it will be a pretty little thing. Okay, so there's that. I might just leave that together because I really like this combination. I'm finding things I like as I go. So there's that one. This guy right here, again, he will go on a page. You could cut him off and make him shorter if you wanted. He'll go on a page, and same thing. He'll have something pretty tucked in him. And then for this one, you might want to do, I mean, not this color necessarily, but something a little more colorful so that you can kind of see it through the sheer pocket. I might do a little more embellishing, like I might weave something through here, maybe some sari silk in a color through here. I probably will put a little embellishment up here just so when the tag is out, not that it's ever really going to be out, except for when somebody writes on it, but just something to kind of help decorate anyway. So there'll be a little more on that one too. But that's that. I don't know, guys. I think we did pretty good for a Saturday craft with me. I think we made lots of different things. I do want to go through every one of the journals and put lace on the page edges. The problem is I need to glue my pockets in before I put that lace on the page edge, because some of the pockets, like this one, you don't have a lot of room to glue lace there. So I want to glue lace to the pages that don't have a pocket all the way over to the edge right here. I do need to make corner pockets, like a corner pocket to go through here. So I still have pocket making. I still have tags and journal cards. I will try to turn on the camera and film it. And I can also tell you right now, we will do Craft With Me on Friday and Saturday next week, just to wrap up these journals. So I'm going to work on making some more pockets and some more ephemera. I will try to turn the camera on. If I do not get the video done or up or whatever, I will at least show you guys pictures in posts on Instagram and in the Facebook group and my page. And I will try to show you whatever I do off camera next time we're together on Friday. So I'll kind of run through, here's what I made, here's how I made it off camera. I will try to video it because my goal was to actually show you every single thing that I did. So I'll try to video it. Anyway, so I need to get my pockets in before I can glue that lace on the edge. When I glue the lace on the edge, like this piece isn't long enough, I'm just going to find a page that doesn't have a pocket that interferes with the lace, and I'm going to put lace. The way I do my lace is I find my center spread, just in case you want to do this. Well, you know, work ahead or whatever. I find my center spread, and I want to put 3 laces on this front section. And then I want to put 3 laces on this back section. It doesn't have to be lace. It could be fabric ruffles. It could be some sort of like tulle or sari or something that you've ruffled up down the edge. But basically 3 page embellishment on the edge of the front and 3 in the back. When you do it, so if I was to glue this lace down, I want the lace to hang out and flop on the edge. So you need to glue it where the lace is secure on the page. So glue it back, you know, 1/4 inch or so, at least on the page, and then leave your points or your ruffles or whatever to flop out. If you don't like the floppiness or whatever, then don't put lace on your edges. But for me, it's going to look so much prettier with the lace. Let me find a page that this works on. With the lace flopping out the edge. Like, I can kind of try to show you. It just scoots out. But for me, the lace is a necessity. I just really like the look. I cannot get this piece to stay in here, but it won't stay. But you can see if you have 3 different laces, not the same lace, but 3 different in the front, and then use those same 3 in the back half for consistency. So you'll have, you know, 3 ruffly little pointies, you know, coming out here and 3 in the back. And it really is full in a nice look. For closures for this journal, I'm going to wrap them with sari silk. So I don't think I'm going to put an eyelet in here and do that kind of a closure. I think we're just going to wrap them with sari silk with that antique key as the tuck-in to keep the sari silk closed. So if you're working ahead, those are kind of later end steps, is the closure and the lace. I still need to decorate my covers. I will absolutely decorate my covers with you guys because I know you guys have asked about that. So we will do it. Hopefully that covers everything. Lace pouring out. And also, I want some little tag topper ruffles and lace sticking out the top. And when I add that lacy pocket in, so this guy, when we add him, sorry for reaching again, when we add him in, not that he's going here, but his lace will stick out the bottom. So we will also have lace dripping out of our bottom and our side. Lace dripping out of our bottom. That's kind of funny, but we will. I like it dripping out. It doesn't impact it. It's just lace. It doesn't impact it sitting on a shelf or whatever. I'm not adding bulky lace there, but I'm just saying, lace is a good thing, especially in a fashion lady journal, right? We also made this, so I need to make tags for those, and I need to make 2 more. So guys, we did a lot. We did a lot. Thanks for joining me last night and this morning. I hope that you guys have a good rest of your weekend and have fun. Work in your journal if you're doing that, or craft or whatever. But I hope you guys have a good weekend. I'll see you guys on Tuesday for the live sale. I'm closing up my glue. See you guys on Tuesday at 6 p.m. for the live sale. Again, I don't know what we're doing yet, but we'll do something awesome. Then I will be back for those of you that are just joining me for Craft with Me on Friday and Saturday. Friday will be 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Saturday morning will be 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, just like today and yesterday. Okay, guys, you guys have a great weekend. Thanks for joining, and I'll see you guys again soon. Bye, guys.